Pogo Hasan Pogo.
What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, afternoon, pre-noon. No matter where you are in the world, I'm Hasan Piker, and this is the HasanAbi broadcast coming to you live from sunny California, Los Angeles. Folks, we are live. We are live and alive, and I've been sitting in front of this monitor basically waiting for 11 a.m. to come so I could start the stream. And the reason why I'm so energized and excited to stream once again, as I usually am normally, is because I took a day off. A lot of you are aware of this, but yesterday was my day off. I followed through on that promise, and honestly, it was a good idea. It was a good call. And the reason why it was a good call is because I spent most of the day laying in bed. My brother just got back from the Baja XL. Hung out with him, and you know, we had some brisket that my mom made. It was a great experience. Most importantly, I spent the entire day.
Love you, Hasan.
Are you just taking one day off a month? Kind of. But I spent the entire day watching Sopranos, and it was so good.
5 months.
It was so good. I restarted I restarted watching Sopranos, and goddamn, what a fucking show, dude. I'm gonna turn off the music for this one. It's such a good show. I literally finished first season already. I blew through the first season in one day. That's all I've done. All I've done is watch Sopranos yesterday, lay in bed,
16 months hassle, bring it,
you know, stretch a little bit. I guess you could say that it's character research, and I'm doing character research, and that's what's going on. But also for fun, for pleasure. Fuck the news, NoPixel, let's go. No, I'm not gonna do that. Sorry, I have to. Last time it was King of the Hill, and this time it's Sopranos.
Thanks for streaming, Hasan.
So, yeah, no, I really have been enjoying it, and it's been so good, and it's gonna be reflected in my character.
Thanks
for
for
sure.
giving me a place to stay every day. You brighten up the world.
What were you doing on NoPixel yesterday? Nothing. I just I went on to see what was going on, to see if I could fuck around with some people. You know, to hang out with some people off stream,
I love you
and you know, maybe grind a little bit, make some money, so it's more fun when I'm on stream. But people kind of didn't want to hang out. I mean, I guess they were doing their own thing, so
check in on the stream.
I couldn't reach anybody. I tried reaching Buddha, and maybe I didn't really try to reach anyone. I just tried to reach Buddha. That was pretty much it. But they were already doing their own stuff, so it's oh my god, the fucking donos, dude. Holy shit. Okay, Jesus Christ, resub, Andy's over here. There's so much they want to say. One day, I'm gone for one fucking day, and people are like, dude, I literally have to tell you my entire day right now. I missed you. I'm losing my fucking mind. You need to hear the TTS. Okay, muted it. Early on, yeah, Buddha did call you. I don't know. I feel like NoPixel seems like everyone just wants to grind money right now. Yeah. Buddha got caught up in some crazy shit. Can he get back to you? Anyway, you don't have to tell me. It's not metagaming. I'll ask him. But right now, it's mostly just people grinding and trying to make money. I found a way to make money. The easiest way to make money is deliveries. It's $100 a delivery. It's pretty easy. If you have a hunting knife, you could literally get some roadkill on the way as well. And depending on where you're delivering, you can double up with some roadkill on your body too. We'll figure it out. We'll figure that sort of stuff out. It's ironically very similar to the fucking real world, where it is incredibly difficult to fucking make money, especially when you're poor, because then a big chunk of the money that you're making, you have to immediately spend on food and even gas. I think there's a lot of gas and shit that you need to. I haven't had to pay for gas yet, but I think you have to actually do that. And of course, it pushes you to do crimes, which is understandable and great, and that's the fucking point. But it's not exactly fun to just do deliveries all day. Why'd you say your taxi is now worth $50K? Wait, what happened? Oh, did they put a medallion cap on taxis or something? Anyway, it is really cool. Okay. Fat Man Jersey, I know you normally make like, fun dad jokes and stuff, but I think you're itching for a ban right now, brother. Are you speed running a ban or something? What's going on? Don't be annoying. I'm gonna give you, you know what? I'm gonna give you 30 seconds off as a warning. One guy is RPing Silverhand. I saw some clips on LSF. Anyway, we're not going to talk about NoPixel right now. Now is politics time. Like, full-blown politics time. We're back. Come on. As far as personal news goes, that's what I did. I watched The Sopranos all day. Watched the fucking Sopranos. I finished the first fucking season already. Oh, Gomar. I'm trying to find a Gomar over here. Very good. Good stuff. It's great. There is hella politics in NoPixel regardless, so that's a fun thing that we are going to get to eventually. I might unironically run on an Andrew Yang style UBI program to advocate for that, because people need disposable income that's higher than what we have currently, because it's fucking nuts that it's. And I want people to remember that it's not. I want people to remember that this is not real life, so I can't advocate for fucking strong labor unions because the way that, or socialism because of the way that the games economy doesn't work that way. Do you understand? So don't get mad at me and be like, why aren't you doing fucking socialism? Like, why aren't you running on socialism if it's so fucking popular? It's like, you can't do that. The game's mechanics don't allow you to actually make money that way. You know what I mean? Like, there is no exploitation of labor in the game. It's already automated, all of that stuff. Anyway, yesterday, me and the moms were watching Super Bowl on offline chat, and let's say I lost all my channel points. Oh, really? Are we sliding with Biden now? Seems like he's bagging off the $15 minimum wage. Oh, good question. We are going to be talking about that in 1 second. Hold on. That's all that there is for personal news. I'm going to tweet out that I'm talking about politics and, welcome the Normans and the Holmes. And then we'll get into NoPixel in a couple hours. Probably in 2 hours or 3 hours, we'll get into NoPixel RP. Okay? Love you all, but let's get started. Take Care is live. Feeling refreshed. I do feel very refreshed, by the way. Taking a day off. Talking about $15 minimum wage. Because part of the reason why I didn't stream yesterday, even though I really wanted to, was because I find myself getting mad unreasonably. I find myself yelling at members of my community, and part of it is you guys do annoying stuff all the time. You're annoying half the time. You are, because you want to get my attention, and you're spamming or you're saying dumb shit to get my attention, and it's fucking annoying. But if I'm in a good mood, or if I'm centered, okay, then at least I don't pay attention to that, and I can avoid that sort of stuff. I don't seek out the most negative comments and get super mad at it. And we can move on. And it's for maximizing content. It's to make sure that it's as fun as possible for everyone. Because I can't stop you from being dumb. You're anonymous on the internet. Of course you're going to say dumb shit. I say dumb shit when I'm anonymous on the internet too. So it's still entirely my fault, I think, when I start getting unreasonably angry at stuff. It's always funny though when people are like, why are you getting mad? I was just spamming stupid shit knowing full well that it's gonna like make you angry. I don't understand. But you know, that is the whole thing. It's right. It's up to me to react to it or not react to it. And by the way, some of you know what the fuck you're doing. Others literally are like, I don't understand why you're mad. Like, so I feel a lot better. So we'll see what happens. Bernie backed off the $15 minimum wage. That's not true. He did not back off the $15 minimum wage. What are you talking about? I don't know where you got that from. Anyway, daycare's live, feeling refreshed. Taking a day off. Talk about $15 minimum wage. And where it goes from here. Watching the Sunday shows with insane Republicans and getting started on Senate impeachment. NoPixel RP later. Get in now. www.twitch.tv/HasanAbi. Okay. There it is. That's the tweet. I tweeted it out. I did it. You can go blast it to your friends, your family, your loved ones. Let them know to come in. There's a lot of stuff that there's a lot of stuff that we're gonna react to as well. There's like reaction content that I totally did not pay attention to. Is BOTW done or on break? Breath of the Wild? I mean, I finished Breath of the Wild, but there's plenty of content to still consume on the game. There's like, you know, labyrinths and stuff that I could play around with. There's some shrines that I haven't completed. There's the DLC, but I'm not going to do that right now. There's a lot more. There is definitely Breath of the Wild content in the future on the stream. I started playing Hades as well. Very fun. I downloaded Hades and I downloaded Mario Odyssey for the Switch for all the fucking Nintendo boys. I downloaded both of them. I started playing Hades already. It's very fun. It's very good. It is remarkable that this is where handheld consoles have gotten to. I'm of course gonna watch the Super Bowl commercials as well later today. So you know, this is just fucking jam packed. All right, we're gonna have Tom Brady memes. Actually, we'll just get started with that. But the second Trump impeachment, yeah, okay. Macius, thank you for that link. That's great. That's a great playlist. There's a Republican who died of COVID. First Republican in Congress who died of COVID. Not a elect congressperson elect, but like an actual congressperson. And COVID is still going on in America. Republicans were wrong that COVID wasn't going to go away, or at least like COVID hasn't actually gone away, but maybe the Democrats are kind of acting like it went away. I don't know. I'm a little annoyed by the way that some of these Democratic governors, including Cuomo and Gavin Newsom, have been behaving. But let's get started on second Trump impeachment trial set to begin Tuesday.
Of former President Trump set to begin in the Senate tomorrow, and our new poll with Ipsos shows that 56% of the public believes the Senate should convict Trump and bar him from holding federal office again.
Wild numbers that only 56% think that Donald Trump should be barred from federal office. Only 56%. That number might seem high, but it's not. That is incredibly low, if you ask me, in comparison to what the fuck Donald Trump has done so far.
43% are against convicting him. Congressional correspondent Rachel Scott has the latest on how the House prosecutors will make their case. Good morning, Rachel.
George, good morning. And we are learning those House impeachment managers plan to rely heavily on video to make their case. The goal here is to remind those senators, now jurors in this trial, of the chaos and violence that they witnessed on January 6th as they place the blame squarely on Donald Trump. With just over 24 hours to go, Democrats are preparing to make their case against the former president, relying on a trove of videos to force senators to relive the insurrection, arguing Donald Trump incited it all.
We will remove them from office one way or another.
The man in the horns and face paint is Jacob Chansley. In this newly released video, seen here celebrating right after the siege. His attorney says he believes he broke into the Capitol at the request of Trump. An ABC News investigation identified more than a dozen others who say they thought they were following Trump's lead. And Democrats say that's the point.
But they were. And they are. And I do hope that some of these idiots finally recognize that, like, you know, they could potentially... I think it's out of self-preservation that so many of these morons are finally saying, like, well, we thought Trump was giving us the A-OK just so they can get out of a prison sentence. But also good. There is truth to it regardless. Like, you know, put yourself in front of Donald Trump's well-being for once. He certainly has never cared about you.
Doing the deadly rampage would not have happened without the former president.
We fight like hell, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
The president was taking steps to make it worse, not better.
Trump's lawyers say he did not incite the riot, insisting he was exercising his First Amendment rights. Now, in the final hours before his second...
Yes, I did hear about the efficacy of the AstraZeneca vaccine.
...impeachment trial, the vast majority of Republicans holding the line of defense, claiming the trial is unconstitutional. Republican Congresswoman Liz...
Okay, so claiming that this trial is unconstitutional is an age-old Republican defense for everything. As you know, they love to play fast and loose with the Constitution, except it's not unconstitutional, as we found out that there was a... in like the 18th century, there was or in the 19th century, there was an instance. I forget exactly what year it is, but someone has been impeached in the past, not a president, but it was 1882, where or 1840. Hold on, I'm just gonna tell you exactly when it was. Hold on. Impeachment. Okay, so there's two reasons for why it's idiotic that, of course, you can impeach someone after they're done. Well, because if you can't impeach someone after they're done with their term, then everyone will just resign, and then there's no accountability. You know what I mean? Like, that would be insane. You could just resign and then run again. It would be like a cheat code. You know what I mean? Oh no, sorry. I can literally do whatever I want in that, like, final month of my service in my term. And then if you try to impeach me, I'll just run away and then get zero repercussions. It's fucking insane. Okay? It's a completely psychotic, nonsensical, insane position. So I'm, of course, not surprised that Republicans would try to do that. Nixon resigned so he wouldn't be impeached. Yeah. It seemed like Nixon was going to get impeached, so he resigned. Doesn't matter. It's not like pulling a Nixon is not exactly the smart thing to do. That was his way of getting out of it, and saying that, like, I'm gonna pull a Nixon here when Donald Trump can't do it already. He already used the entirety of his term. But like, saying that you're going to pull a Nixon isn't exactly your saving grace here. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm just going to do a Nixon here. Like, okay, sick. Well, he was a bad guy and he was going to get convicted. So fuck you. Who cares? Also, Nixon wasn't running again and he wasn't going to be able to run again. He had already done 2 terms. So yeah, it's like saying that if you committed tax fraud at a company and then left the company, then said you can't charge me because I quit the job, It's ridiculous. It is completely ridiculous. It is baby shit. It's so bad that it's like me on NoPixel servers trying to defend and disconnect myself from the actual crime that I did end up committing when I robbed someone. But then I was like, oh, you didn't see me rob someone. And I just thought I was getting in an Uber fucking, I was getting in a taxi cab to go home. I had called the taxi. Like, that's not an argument. Okay? That shit only works barely in fucking servers. Okay? In like video game servers when you're doing role play. All right? It is completely insane. Completely insane to be like, well, actually, presidents could literally do whatever they want in a lame duck session because they're going to go, and there's no accountability measure for it. They can be as tyrannical as they want, and there's no accountability or enforcement measure for it at all because you can just do the cheat code of resigning. Okay? Or you can carry out your term till its end, and the Senate can't ever convict someone post them holding on to a position. Also, the other irony is that you can't really convict someone of crimes when they're the president while they are the president. It's great. It's great. It's like a double jeopardy. You just literally cannot. Once you become a president, you're God King. You can't be convicted of a crime while you're literally the president, okay? While you're in office, because, you just, they'll take away from your... There's a lot of things that presidents have to do that are that would be considered criminal potentially, okay? And you can't be convicted in an impeachment trial post-service, so it's like a double bind. It's great. Perfect system, great. Of course, that would never work for the Democrats. It only works for Republicans. The last tweet that the rep who died of COVID sent was calling for all students to return to school immediately and teachers forced to work through COVID. Well, this is why I don't fucking, I don't feel bad when some of these people die of COVID. I'm sorry. Like, I'm just being honest. I'm being real. I'm being honest. You can fucking be shocked all you want. But, like, if you're a piece of shit who literally is, like, denying COVID, telling others to risk their lives, and then you finally, like, for once, karma or some sort of, like, blind justice is served to you, and you experience what you are subjecting others to, I'm not going to sit here and fucking shed tears over you. Just like I didn't over Herman Cain. Which is hilarious because his account still, he might be dead of COVID because he went to the Tulsa rally famously to, defend Republicans who would never defend him in a similar capacity. But his Twitter is still alive and well and still posting COVID misinformation from time to time. So is he even dead? Maybe not. Aren't presidents supposed to be able to use presidential immunity in impeachment trials to suppress witnesses from their own administration? If this is allowed, then the other party should just impeach every president and senator after their powers of office have expired? Yeah. That will be an argument that you will hear. Is that if we start impeaching presidents post-term, then what's stopping us from impeaching Barack Obama? What's stopping us from impeaching Bill Clinton? Right? Well, part of it is, okay, you impeach them. Who gives a shit? They already carried out 2 terms. They're not going to be able to run again regardless. And secondly, fuck yeah, that's awesome. Definitely impeach them. I don't know what Republicans will try to impeach them over, but if it's over like actual high crimes that they have engaged in, crimes against the American working class or something like that, then yeah, great. Literally impeach every single president. Every single one of them. Yeah, impeach Bush, especially. Oh my God, which will never happen, so it doesn't matter. But regardless, as we were saying, this has happened. There's historic precedent for it. William Worth Belknap, who was the 30th United States Secretary of War, who was working with, who appointed someone to a position of power. And I'm going to give you I'm not going to give you like all the details here, but what he ended up doing was extort money, or not extort money, but like put someone in a position of power as the Secretary of War, where he made, I guess, in today's terms, in today's dollars, like $20 million a year. I think, or was it 5 million? Fuck, I don't remember. But, you know, when the Civil War started, he remained loyal to the Union as a pro-war Democrat, joined the Union Army. After the American Civil War ended, he appointed Belknap, now retired from military service, to the post Iowa Collector of Internal Revenue. In that position, Belknap was responsible for collecting millions of dollars in federal taxes. Collectors were paid a percentage of the revenue they brought in, which made the position lucrative and highly sought after. Where is it? What is happening over here? Yeah, he received profits from trade ships reached. Representative Heister Clymer, chairman of the Committee of Expenditures, Department of War. And there was a trial. And Republicans at the time, who he was a part of the Republican Party, and this was like when the party was supposed to be good. At the time, they made the exact same argument that Republicans are making right now, where they said, or some of them did at least, where they said, oh, this is insane. We can't just impeach him post his position. He ran to the president, cried, and resigned immediately, with hopes that he could salvage his reputation. And then they still ended up impeaching him. So it doesn't matter. So there is actually precedent for someone being impeached once they've carried out their term, or even resigned in an effort to make sure that they don't get impeached. So yeah, they still ended up impeaching him. So Republicans are going to say this is unconstitutional because they have no other argument. Okay. Except it's not unconstitutional. It has happened in the past.
Cheney still standing by her vote to impeach, calling on senators to listen to the evidence.
And this is not something that we can simply look past or pretend didn't happen or try to move on. We've got to make sure this never happens again.
The timing and structure of the trial is still unclear this morning, but both sides signaling they want it to be over with quickly, George.
Okay, Rachel, thanks very much.
Nothing will come out of this trial is a falsehood. That's wrong. I am a firm believer that you absolutely should have, and you should be using every fucking state mechanism possible to push back against this sort of stuff. Do I think it's largely a symbolic action? Yes, it is largely symbolic. Do I think Trump should be prevented from running again? Absolutely. Do I think Trump deserves to be impeached? Yes. Not only does he deserve to be impeached, but he also deserves to go to jail. So, sorry. You have to do something, okay? I know that it's not going to solve the real problems facing the, working class and their material conditions, but you still absolutely, without a fucking shadow of a doubt, have to maintain some form of institutional legitimacy and also control and enforce accountability on people who think they can get away with literally fucking pushing for an insurrection by lying about the outcome of votes. Republicans haven't stopped. They're literally still lying. They are still lying to their audience, okay? They are such weaselly little liars, dude. I mean, they have not stopped. Republicans have not stopped questioning the integrity of our elections. They're still claiming that that this election was stolen. Some of them are still doing it. A lot of the pundits are still doing it. Like, you can't do this. It's over. Unless you are one of those accelerationists living in a developing nation who wants to completely accelerate America into full tilt fascism and have it inevitably self-destruct, in which case, go off, keep supporting Republicans. But every other situation outside of that, it's devastating. It's insane to have no accountability whatsoever. I think that is significant. I think that is important. And that's precisely why I'm on board with impeaching Donald Trump. And you will hear a lot of people. You will hear a lot of people say, this is such a bullshit trial. Why the fuck are they doing this? Just get to the $15 minimum wage. Get to the 2K stimmies. You fucking pieces of shit. Fuck you. You're going to hear that a lot of lefties say this sort of stuff. You're probably going to hear that from the Chabo Boys when they release their podcast later today. I don't care. I don't want you to come back to me and be like, well, you know, Matt Christman and Felix and Will are against you. Amber said something that is totally against your point of view. I don't care. Okay? I don't care. My point of view on this issue is that you absolutely should have some fucking form of accountability enforced within the system, so that even if the symbolism lovers and the jurisprudence fetishists and the Constitution understanders can point to 20 years down the fucking line when there is yet another fascist uprising, where there's yet another fascist uprising, they could just turn around and be like, well, here's the precedent. It's kind of like this. I'll give you an analogy from stalkers. Okay, I'll give you an analogy from stalkers or domestic abusers. When you go to the cops, when you are in a domestic abuse situation, the cops don't actually do anything. They don't defend you. They don't protect you. If you get a restraining order on someone, okay, there is no protective barrier around you that respawns like an enemy when they come through your protective barrier, when they breach that restraining order. No, that doesn't work that way. The reason why you get a restraining order is so that it's written in the law that this person is violating the law, and that there's enough evidence in the end when that person who's stalking you does engage in some sort of crazy behavior. That doesn't mean you shouldn't stop yourself from defending yourself and figuring out how to defend yourself outside of the law. Do you understand what I'm saying? But it's still important to have that kind of established, documented wrongdoing, that you are taking the necessary precautions and the necessary measures within the system of the law as well. Because ultimately it helps you down the line. You get it? Because cops are notoriously horrible at stopping domestic abuse from happening. They themselves, and according to at least some older studies, are personally responsible for domestic abuse happening. But having said that, you still have to get a restraining order when you have a stalker, so that at least it is documented that this person has been harassing you and stalking you for a while. Regardless, though, that's not the end-all be-all. You should still work outside of the legal system, as cops will literally personally tell you, as they did to me when I was getting fucking death threats nonstop. They were like, go out and get a gun and defend yourself. We can't do shit for you. So it's still important to work within the system as well. And this is what you do with impeachment. If you want to avoid fascism, if you want to avoid a further acceleration towards fascism, then you have to at least in some respects utilize the state machinations. And this is one enforcement protocol that you can use to enforce accountability on a president. That doesn't mean you shouldn't stop analyzing the material conditions, the underlying material conditions in which fascist radicalization occurs, and trying to solve those problems. But this is one metric, or not metric, sorry. This is one measure that you have to take. Not impeaching Trump would set the president that the president is essentially a king and above the law, and smarter than Trump. Anyone smarter than Trump will 100% abuse that. Yeah. Why can't we pass the stimmy first and then come back to the big peach? The stimmy and the big peach are happening simultaneously. The Senate can do both of those things at the same time. Republicans are going to just use that against. Republicans are going to use that to avoid having the stimmy convo, but like, it doesn't matter.
Turn now to the first part of our exclusive interview with President Biden. In the wide-ranging conversation, we asked about where he's willing to negotiate in his stimulus plan. You've said you're not compromising on the $1,400 checks. You made that promise. You're sticking to it. So the big question is who gets the check?
Right.
Is it someone who makes up to $50,000 or is it someone who makes up to $75,000?
I'm prepared to negotiate that, but here's the deal. Middle-class folks need help. But you don't need to get any help to someone making $300,000 or $250,000. So it's somewhere between an individual making up to $75,000 and phasing out, and a couple making up to $150,000 and phasing out. But again, I'm wide open on what that is.
You also want to raise the minimum wage to $15. Is that something you would be willing to negotiate on in order to get Republican support?
Well, apparently that's not going to occur because of the rules.
This part is really annoying because Joe Biden has enough technical know-how on how Senate proceedings work and how procedures work in the Senate from all of his years in the Senate. He's been in the Senate for fucking 7 million years. He's been in the Senate before the Senate even existed. He was basically in the fucking Greek parliament with how old he is. And this motherfucker is still acting like the vice president can't vote to overrule that protocol and push for a straight majority vote on it. Like, it is malarkey. I mean, the guy who literally founded the Senate and laid some of the bricks on the Senate himself is over here acting like that's not a tool that he has in his tool belt, which is really, really annoying and frustrating.
Of the United States Senate.
So you're saying the minimum wage won't be in this?
My guess is it will not be in it, but
And that's frustrating because, like, if you were doing your fucking job, Norah O'Donnell, you would turn around and be like, well, you do have options. It's not like completely dead in the fucking water. You have options. Options like Kamala Harris overruling, like voting to overrule the supermajority vote. The Senate was Roman, not Greek. Whatever, dude. I said parliament. It doesn't matter. Shut up. Greek, Roman, suck my dick. That's not the point. I was trying to make a joke there.
I do think that
override the parliamentarian
wage, stand by itself, $15 an hour, and work your way up to the 15. It doesn't have to be boom. And all the economics show if you do that, the whole economy rises. I'm prepared as President of the United States on a separate negotiation on minimum wage to work my way up from what it is now, which is pain. Look, no one should work 40 hours a week and live below the poverty wage. And if you're making less than $15 an hour, you're living below the poverty wage.
But that may not be in your American Rescue Plan.
No, I put it in, but I don't think it's going to survive.
Let's turn to the impeachment trial.
Like, this is so defeatist. Why would you say that? I mean, if there's one thing that you should absolutely 100% copycat from Donald Trump, it is at the very least like using every form, using the bully pulpit to agitate for your plan. Even if you know, even if he wasn't lying here, and even if he literally did not have a single shot of getting this through, right? With budget reconciliation, all he has to say here is like, Republicans are desperate to stop the American working class from getting $15, $600 a week, $15 an hour, $600 a week. Can you imagine at a time of a pandemic that has devastated the working class after years and years of jobs being shipped overseas, something that I'm going to change. After 4 years of Donald Trump lying about saving the American working class, I'm here to actually do something, and Republicans are stopping me from doing this. Why can't you just say that? Why can't you just say unity, like his chief of staff said? Unity is not about uniting with Republican politicians who are representing the better interests of corporations of the wealthy. Unity is about uniting the American working class, restoring the American working class. And the American working class is on board with this measure. And that's what he should be saying here. But instead he's like, it's going to be dead in the water, Jack. It's fucking terrible. It is a terrible, pathetic, weak-ass response. And the only reason why you would respond that way is if you yourself don't have any genuine investment in this. If you don't actually want to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. I hope I'm wrong. Joe Biden has done fairly well with a lot of the executive orders so far. There's glaring obvious flaws that I have also mentioned, right? So we'll see what happens.
President Trump's impeachment trial. If you were still a senator, would you vote to convict him?
Look,
loser. Reminds me of the argument surrounding forced to vote. It's almost like Joe Biden is bound by ideological formations that Trump isn't. Ay, dude. The fucking... Actually, I probably should give him a week off. The fucking Jimmy Dore fans on the left are so cringe. You embarrass yourselves at every step. Like, just say you like charismatic individuals who are anti-establishment and move on, okay? You just don't like establishment, which is fine. We don't either, but we are in entirely different fucking wavelengths when it comes to politics, okay? Centering my ideology around, like, centering my political point of view around just hating the establishment is so fucking stupid when there's so much more to it than that. You just point your establishment ray at any sort of person that you deem to be unworthy. It's literally purity politics. And the irony is you end up fucking loving someone who is the most establishment or who represents the interests of the establishment, like Donald Trump. Donald Trump wasn't bound by ideology. Yeah, really? You're going to tell me that about the guy that ended up being a gangbusters president for the Republican Party? A dude who was so fucking good at being a Republican that the Republican turnout increased in historic numbers? Really? That Donald Trump? You're going to tell me that Donald Trump was a bad Republican president? Are you out of your fucking mind, dude? Get the hell out of here, dude. Just, you are as focused on the aesthetics as neoliberals are. That's the inherent irony of the anti-establishment shitlords, is that they are just as hyper-focused on the aesthetics as the neoliberals are. It is literally the same fucking energy as those who operate on the principle of the horseshoe theory, where, you know, plenty of centrist neoliberals will say stuff like, oh, it's the two radical points, it's the two polarizing radical points that are outside of the establishment that are the problem. And the further you go away from the middle, the more radicalized you get, and it's a problem. Both the communists are a problem and the fucking Nazis are a problem, right? Like, that's what neoliberals say. You basically are flipping it on its head, and you're saying, no, the establishment is the only problem. Both the Nazis and the fucking communists are not a problem. Both of those ideologies, or both of those political points of view, literally revolve around, like, focusing on just a group of individuals and the words that they use instead of the actions that they take and the outcomes of those actions and who benefits from those policy positions. Okay? It's very stupid. It is very, very, very stupid. It's stupid when the neoliberals do it. It's stupid when other Twitch streamers who are political commentators do it. And it's fucking insanely stupid when Jimmy Dore does it, but in the opposite way.
Look, I ran like hell to defeat him because I thought he was unfit to be president. I've watched what everybody else watched, what happened when that crew invaded the United States Congress. But I'm not in the Senate now. I'll let the Senate make that decision.
Well, let me ask you then something that you do have oversight of as president. Should former President Trump still receive intelligence briefings?
I think not.
Why not?
Because of his
Sorry, this is unrelated, but certain factions of the communists are part of the problem? No, they're not. They are insanely irrelevant. And if you actually think that communists have a legitimate voice in American politics, or if you legitimately think that, like, communists have any sort of influence beyond being fucking annoying shitlords on Twitter, you are out of your fucking mind, okay? And I say this as an anti-capitalist myself. There are plenty of fucking communists in here. Most of them would agree with me that they have no fucking say whatsoever in American politics. They don't even have a say in most leftist fucking spaces, okay? Please stop. Are you a fucking fascist? Like, are you a Nazi? That's what the Nazis say. Literally, that is what neo-Nazi, psychopathic alt-right people say. And that's what your fucking dad says because he watches Fox News. You're like, it's the anarchists and communists that have invaded the Democratic Party. Really? Zero say whatsoever. There is not a single fucking out and about communist in this goddamn country that holds a fucking fraction of political power, a modicum of political power. Are you out of your fucking mind, dude? Are you insane? There aren't even that many of them in general, okay? This chat is so lib, I hate it. Yeah, this is it. That's it. That's all you're gonna get. All you're gonna hear from Marxist Leninists and shit is that, oh, you guys are so liberal, man, I fucking hate it. And then they keep coming back to eat that garbage, okay? Because they eat from the trash can of my ideology every fucking day, because they also know that they have no fucking power and no influence. The only people that say communists have power and influence, either in American politics in general or in any political space whatsoever, are people who are permanently and extremely fucking online, and they have permanent brain rot from being online, and they constantly see people with like hammer and sickle on Twitter saying stuff like, that's not good, sweaty. You are doing the imperialist bidding of social fascist Bernie Sanders. Like that's, and that person is completely irrelevant. I'm sorry. On the other side, though, there are a lot of fucking white nationalists, fascists, and neo-Nazis in actual positions of fucking power. Okay? And I don't mean just like people who wear Klan robes. Like, I mean, Stephen Miller was writing white nativist immigration policy. Stephen Miller is completely ideologically guided and motivated by actual white supremacist scripture, white supremacist texts. Okay, so like, miss me with this fucking insanity where like there's communists on the other side. Like, no, there isn't. The most radical politicians you have in the Democratic Party are AOC and Ilhan Omar and people like that. There is no both sides. The things that they advocate for are not even fucking full tilt like Vanguard Party revolution. What they advocate for aren't Marxist-Leninist principles. What they advocate for is basic social democratic reform, just like Bernie Sanders. There's no both siding this, okay? Hits up Strawman for content hogs. Attacks Jimmy Dore fans out of nowhere despite not being mentioned or alluded to. False for this Dark Souls 3 bait post sleep. Okay, thanks, man. Thanks for your concern. See you in a week.
Unrelated to the insurrection.
I mean, you've called him an existential threat. You've called him dangerous. You've called him reckless.
Yeah, I have, and I believe it.
What's your worst fear if he continues to get these intelligence briefings?
I'd rather not speculate out loud. I just think that there is no need for him to have that intelligence briefing. What value is giving him an intelligence briefing? What impact does he have at all, other than the fact he might slip and say something?
And we will have more.
Okay. Let's continue. We're going to watch this entire interview. I don't know if there's like one big one. We're going to turn now. Or not, but why do ex-presidents get briefings anyway? Dude, Donald Trump didn't read the briefings when he was president. Why in the ever-loving fuck would he even read the briefings or want them when he's not president? Like, when did he read the fucking briefings? Does he know how to read? We don't even know. It's so funny. Republicans are, it would be hilarious if Republicans take on this mantle and be like, it is unprecedented not to offer a president like Donald Trump the briefings post presidency. It's like, dog, he is illiterate. Okay. Like, he has never read, dude. And I say this as someone who's anti-reading myself. I'm just kidding. But like, why the fuck? Why is this even a point of contention? Half the problem with the COVID stuff was that he just didn't read the briefings. They had to fucking PowerPoint it to him, dude. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Get the fuck out of here.
To the first part of our exclusive interview with President Biden. In the wide-ranging conversation, we asked about where he's willing to negotiate in his stimulus plan. You've said you're not compromising on the $1,400 checks. You made that promise. You're sticking to it. So the big question is who gets the check? Exactly right. Is it someone who makes up to $50,000 or is it someone who makes up to $75,000?
I'm prepared to negotiate that, but here's the deal. Middle-class folks need help. But you don't need to get any help to someone making $300,000 or $250,000. So it's somewhere between an individual making up to $75,000 and phasing out, and a couple making up to $150,000 and phasing out. But again, I'm wide open on what that is.
You also want to raise the minimum wage to $15. Is that something you would be willing to negotiate on in order to get Republican support?
Well, apparently that's not going to occur because of the rules of the United States Senate.
So you're saying the minimum wage won't be in this?
My guess is it will not be in it. But I do think that we should have a minimum wage stand by itself, $15 an hour, and work your way up to the 15. It doesn't have to be boom. And all the economics show if you do that, the whole economy rises. I'm prepared as President of the United States on a separate negotiation on minimum wage to work my way up from what it is now, which is pain. Look, no one should work 40 hours a week and live below the poverty wage. And if you're making less than $15 an hour, you're living below the poverty wage.
But that may not be in your American Rescue Plan.
No, I put it in, but I don't think it's going to survive.
Let's turn to the impeachment trial. President Trump's impeachment trial. If you were still a senator, would you vote to convict him?
Look, I ran like hell to defeat him because I thought he was unfit to be president.
Don't be a pussy. Do not be a pussy. Fucking say it, dude. Fucking say it. And say it with your chest.
That's what everybody else watched. What happened when that crew invaded the United States Congress. But I'm not in the Senate now. I'll let the Senate make that decision.
Well, let me ask you then something that you do have oversight of as president. Should former President Trump still receive intelligence briefings?
Did I watch the... Is this the same fucking video? Very frustrating.
Welcome back. We're here at the White House with the President of the United States. Mr. President, thank you.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
This Super Bowl is going to be unlike any other. I mean, about 25,000 fans in the stands. Do you think a year from now there will be a Super Bowl where they can play in front of a full stadium?
It's my hope and expectation if we're able to put it together and make up for all the lost time fighting COVID.
This is so dumb. I'm sorry. This is a fucking idiotic question, an idiotic answer. Why is this even a thing? Like, will the American people be able to get together at the Super Bowl? Like, what the fuck kind of... Yo, this is why Republicans get so triggered when they're like, they love Joseph Robinette Biden. They love him. That's why they never ask questions that are hard to him. They don't ask him hard questions like, I mean, what are you doing? You got limited amount of time. You got limited amount of time to talk to this fucking guy. And this is one of your questions? What will the American people think about the Bruce Springsteen ad, Mr. President? Will we finally find the middle? Is Big Bird actually... By the way, I haven't seen a single one of these fucking ads yet. And I just know this just by looking at Twitter. I've seen stuff on the timeline so far. Will America unite around the fact that Big Bird thinks Proposition 22 is good? And that gig economy workers do not deserve rights and should be murdered if they don't deliver food in a timely manner by Postmates with no legal repercussions? Like, that's actually that's what the question I gotta ask.
That's occurred that we'll be able to watch the Super Bowl with a full stadium. The Super Bowl is just one of those great American celebrations, and all those house parties, all those things that aren't happening. But God willing, we're going to be able to celebrate it all as usual a year from now.
But there may be some house parties happening.
Oh, I'm sure there are. I know it's hard. It was hard at Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's. But, you know, I hope people, if you're watching, be careful. Be careful.
People want to know when things are going to get back to normal.
Yep.
And the road ahead is pretty daunting. To get herd immunity, Dr. Fauci has said you have to have at least 75% of...
By the way, Mini Kush literally means little bird, not big bird, just for the record.
Americans vaccinated. We did the math. And at the current rate, of 1.3 million doses a day. It's going to take almost a year to get there. Can we wait that long?
No, we can't. That's why one of the disappointments was when we came into office is the circumstance relating to how the administration was handling COVID was even more dire than we thought.
The Trump administration.
The Trump administration.
It's top of the hour every hour. It's time for a 60-second ad break, folks. I apologize for stopping it midway, but I need to be more timely with my ad breaks. So, top of the hour every hour. It's time for a 60-second ad break, the first of the day. If you want to no longer see the ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for $5 or for free. You can do it for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Here's the ad. I haven't got my 600 stimmy. Why should I think the vaccine is coming any quicker? It's probably not. Americans are so impatient expecting disease to fade over into nothing overnight. No, but it is understandable that Americans expect a more expedient vaccine delivery. Again, we are the wealthiest nation on earth. I have to repeat myself. And that's not even what they're saying. They're saying, like, why, you know, it's going to take a fucking year to deliver vaccines to as many people to reach herd immunity. And that's a long time.
We thought they indicated there was a lot more vaccine available, and it didn't turn out to be the case. So that's why we've ramped up every way we can.
I see no ad. It's probably from where you are in the world. If you're not in NA, you get less ads overall.
I got a call through Commissioner Goodell saying we could have all 32 NFL stadiums available for mass vaccinations. We are...
Are you going to use them, NFL stadiums, to vaccinate?
Absolutely, we will. I mean, let me put it this way. I'm telling my team they're available, and I believe we'll use them. Look, it was one thing if we had enough vaccine, which we didn't, so we're pushing as hard as we can to get more vaccine manufactured.
You're President of the United States, Commander-in-Chief. Can you do something in terms of going to Moderna, going to Pfizer, saying we need more production?
Yes, I think, because we've already done it. But the idea that this can be done and we can get to herd immunity much before the end of this summer is very difficult.
Let's turn to schools.
Sure.
About 20 million American children have not been in the classroom for nearly a year. There's a mental health crisis happening.
There really is.
Women are dropping out of the workforce. Is this a national emergency?
It is a national emergency. It generally is a national emergency.
Do you think it's time for schools to reopen?
I think it's time for schools to reopen safely. Safely. You have to have fewer people in the classroom. You have to have ventilation systems that have been reworked. Our CDC commissioner is going to be coming out with science-based judgment within, I think, as early as Wednesday as to lay out what the minimum requirements are.
It's so hard with kids not being able to play sports now.
It really is. I think about the price so many of my grandkids and your kids are going to pay for not having had the chance to finish whatever it was. That graduation where you didn't get to walk across the stage. I think they're going through a lot, these kids.
So many people may not know.
He's right, guys. Stop saying sports is a megalol. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Dude, schools are... Dude, we've had this argument a million times over. Schools are incredibly important for social development, for social cohesion. They're incredibly important for kids to fucking go back. It's incredibly important for kids to go back to school. Obviously, in the middle of fucking Twitch chat, no one is going to agree with me because all of you love the fact that you get to fucking not really watch your classes on Zoom. My niece and, or not my niece and nephew, my cousins are like 7 and I think 10 or something. I don't know. I forget how old they are, but one's 7, one's like 6 or 5 or whatever. They fucking love that they don't have to go to school. They love it. They're like, yeah, I fucking absolutely love it. It is because schools are, they're hard to navigate social environments. And if you're young, that's really stressful for you. You get to do less homework overall. You get to do less school overall. Like, Of course you don't want to fucking go to school, but it's still good for you. Okay? It's still good for you. And in-person classes are really important for developing your social skills and whatnot. Yeah, okay, anarchists, schools are prisons. Anyway, fuck school. I love not having to hear my loud ass bitches in the morning. Yeah, I know. I was young once. Okay, I know what it's like when you're, getting on the school bus and it fucking sucks because every day sucks ass, and you're worried that you're gonna get bullied. I know that. I know that feeling. Okay, I've lived through that. Trust me. Hold everyone back 1 year? No, that's terrible. Yeah, going to school is like eating your fruits and vegetables. Exactly. Something that you overall don't want to do. You want to eat dessert all day, but if you eat dessert all day, then you turn into America, okay? One of the most obese nations on the planet. Just like if you fucking don't go to school, or I guess in America, even if you do go to school, you still turn into America, one of the worst countries for education. In comparable OECD nations, of course.
You were once a pretty good receiver yourself back in the day.
I had wild dreams. It wasn't to be president. I thought I could be a flanker back.
But the problem here is that when we move away from the importance of going to school, you have to recognize that you can't send kids and teachers back to school with the current way that the schools work. Because underfunded school districts are absolutely going to be super spreaders, and they have been. And teachers are going to get COVID and fucking die. They don't deserve it. They don't get paid enough as it is. Now they're going to go get COVID and then give it to granddad at home and fucking kill their families. Like, that's terrible. So many teachers have already died from COVID. They shouldn't. They don't have to.
Back in the NFL.
But as a former receiver, which quarterback would you rather have throw to you? Tom Brady or Mahomes?
Obviously, Brady's a great quarterback. Mahomes seems like he's got a lot of potential. And so I'd probably take a shot with the young guy that didn't expect as much from.
You thinking the Kansas City Chiefs may win?
Well, I didn't say that. I don't know who's going to win. I think they're both great quarterbacks. One is just a younger version, potentially, of an old, great quarterback. Not old, in NFL terms, old.
Mr. President, thank you for joining us.
It's difficult situation because my brother's autistic. He got really comfortable distance learning because me and my family are on him. I fear that once he goes back, he's going to lose his progress. Yeah, I get it. But again, for the large majority of like neurotypical folks and whatnot, school, even if you go through bullying and whatnot, is still incredibly and profoundly important for your social development. I understand though, but if you'd ask the President of the United States anything, what would you ask him? That is a 6-year-old me answer. Yeah. This was a lukewarm interview? I know. School was the one time I was able to get a decent lunch as a poor kid growing up. Also, school sports were the only thing keeping me out of trouble. Yeah, like, there's another element to this. In underfunded neighborhoods, school programs or an increase in after-school programs, for example, literally directly correlate with a decrease in additional crimes occurring in that specific age group. Okay? You increase after-school programs in places like Chicago, boom, crime starts, there's lower rates of crime as a consequence of that. Because when you keep kids busy, they don't go out and fuck around. So, you know, that it is supremely important. It's really important for food, as a chatter pointed out, for millions of food insecure families. It is so important in every way. That's why a lot of schools, even during the peak of COVID, when schools weren't open, were still doing their food programs, because that's the first and foremost, most important thing that a school does, is provide a relatively healthy meal for so many food insecure families. The only meal that they will get that has like nutritious things included in it. They say the vaccine no good with the African variant. Yes, the South African variant of the COVID, just AstraZeneca. The AstraZeneca vaccination rollout has been halted in South Africa because they had a very, very limited, very narrow scope in testing, where they looked at the coronavirus cases. Now, South Africa and the UK are two new strains, two separate strains that have been really scaring people for this reason. Right? And in their limited trial that they conducted, they found that it wasn't effective. The South African strain was not effective, or the AstraZeneca vaccine was not effective on the South African strain. And that's the reason why they stopped using it. There's still going to be potential booster shots. And AstraZeneca is not one that's being used in I don't think that this is one that's like super common here. In America we use Pfizer, and what's the other one what's the one that Dogan got? Anne. Oh, Moderna, thank you. She has her headphones in, so she can't hear anything I'm saying. Yeah, we have Pfizer and Moderna. Those are like the two common ones. Don't forget the Brazilian strain too that started spreading in the EU. Yes. Overall, it still works. It's just not as effective as the other ones, is what they are saying. Anyway, you have the Moderna, the RNA one, the Oxford University AstraZeneca one, the viral vector genetically modified virus. That needs 2 doses. The RNA one, that is Pfizer BioNTech, the one that was the one that was created by the Turkish person. You have Gamaleya Sputnik V, the viral vector. You have Sinovac, the Coronavac, the inactivated virus, the weakened virus version, which is the Chinese one. And that's the one that they're giving to people in Turkey. You have Novavax, which is a protein-based one, and Janssen, which is a viral vector as well. There's only one, the Janssen one, that's only one shot. In science speak, that basically means completely ineffective law because it can still spread freely with mild cases. Yes. That is the reason why they stopped vaccinating people, because it would lead to people getting a false sense of security if it still allows mild cases. It's still good, though. No, that's not science speak for being fucking bullshit, because it prevents you from dying still, from what we understand. It just doesn't prevent the virus from spreading. Are the vaccines just going to be space race, but for corporations/nations? Like, the big thing that most of these vaccines do is develop antibodies in your body for when you do get a viral load, you avoid dying. You avoid some of the worst symptoms. It also has the capability of, because it increases the viral load necessary, some of them do, to get infected, is what they think. And this isn't fully proven at all. We don't have enough information yet. They assume that it will make it harder for the virus to spread as well. Yes, it still prevents the virus from spreading to a certain degree, because if it's a milder case, you get healthy faster and have a shorter period where you can infect someone. Exactly. It's crazy how you even have to explain how a vaccine is supposed to work. That's not that crazy. Many people don't know that. I understand why they wouldn't know that. Why would you trust people you don't even know to put a vaccine in you? Why do you trust people that you don't know to put food in your body? Like, literally everything you do under division of labor backed economic organization and commodity production is done by people you have never seen, and you just assume that there are checks in place to ensure that you don't fucking die. The same concept with vaccines exists for literally a McDonald's burger. Yeah, why would you trust your doctor? Do you know your doctor personally? That might be the stupidest take I've read today, which is pretty cool. I wonder if someone will top that. That was good. I'm sure when we get to my fucking Tom Brady sports ball takes, people will probably top it quickly, but no, that's not a challenge. It's not a fucking challenge. Shut up. Johnson & Johnson, like a flu shot, only reduces the symptoms, and that's why it's one dose. My stepmom was a former heroin addict, said the same thing, but she didn't seem to mind when she put heroin in her body when she had no idea what the fuck was in there. Yeah, well. Big news. The Progressive Caucus has secured the inclusion of $15 minimum wage in the House's pandemic reconciliation package as of 7 minutes ago. This has been a leading priority for our caucus and would give 27 million low-wage workers a raise. Every job has dignity and every worker deserves to earn a wage that they can live on by including the $15 minimum wage in the pandemic. Relief package. Congress has the chance to lift nearly 1 million people out of poverty and raise the minimum wage for the first time in over a decade. The Progressive Caucus was the first caucus to support a $15 minimum wage with the introduction of the Pay Workers a Living Wage Act in 2015. Thank you, Ed Labor Committee Chairman Bobby Scott and Speaker Pelosi for working with us to get this done. Nice. Honestly, isn't this just going to reduce everyone's hours and fuck small businesses? No. No, it's not. That's the honest answer. No. Millions of people will be lifted out of poverty. This will only be good. The Congressional Budget Office, which offers very conservative estimates on this sort of thing, still recognizes the reality that millions of people are going to be lifted out of poverty, and that, yes, there might be 1 million jobs lost as a consequence of this, which is not proven and historically has not happened in places where they do end up raising the minimum wage. Even with that, there's still... even with that, millions more people are still going to be lifted out of poverty. So you have to remember that. There's always winners and losers in every policy. And what you're supposed to do when you're crafting a policy is to ensure that the losers are the right people that are bearing the brunt or that are shouldering the burden of this proposal, which is why it should always be rich people, the very wealthy people that suffer from this. No jobs for teenagers? That's not true. That is a meme. This notion that like minimum wage work is just for teenagers is completely a fucking meme. There is still a gigantic chunk of minimum wage workers that are not teenagers. As a matter of fact, most of the workers are still over the age of 19. So these are the same arguments that Republicans and conservatives put forward all the time whenever we're discussing minimum wage. But, what about small businesses, though? There aren't exactly the rich and wealthy people. Yeah, great question. Now, there is a reason for why, for example, in the state of California, there is an adjusted increase. First of all, it's not an immediate increase to $15 tomorrow. It is going to be either 4 or 5 years, depending on whose plan we are going to go forward with, whether it's Biden's plan in 4 years or Bernie's plan in 5 years, or even some different plan that they might put together. Or I guess they're going with the 4-year plan, or I guess they're going with the 5-year plan if it's the Progressive Caucus one. But regardless, not only that, but then there's also additional safety checks on top of that, where certain states will be able to limit how they get to the 5-year plan and how they raise the minimum wage. It doesn't automatically kick in, and it doesn't kick in for small businesses in comparison to large businesses. That's why in the state of California, there is a different rate for businesses that I think have less than 25 employees versus businesses that have more than 25 employees. Okay? Maybe defending child labor isn't the best angle to attack your argument from chatters. What? What? You think I'm defending child labor? What the fuck? Da Vinci, dude? There's no reason why children who are working these hours shouldn't get paid more as well. Because oftentimes kids aren't working these hours because they want to get like a new fucking jet ski or something. They're working these hours because they need to help pay for things that their family needs to pay for. Not only that, but yeah, 88% of, what is the percentage? Is it 88%? Like the majority, I know the majority of minimum wage workers are over the age of 19, but and even if they are literally working to buy a jet ski, like who gives a fuck? That's the thing that I don't understand. Like, oh, well, these are supposed to be like introductory jobs. Like, okay, well, we know that these are entry level positions. Why shouldn't they pay more? Like, I think that even if kids were working these jobs, they should be paid $15 an hour. Like, they're doing the same fucking job. I worked since I was 14 and that money went towards school trip abroad and later for college expenses. Yeah. Anyway. Some countries, teenagers can't work. Maybe that's why in the question. Yeah, I was shocked to find out what. I was shocked to find out that the American labor laws around like child labor is crazy loose. I actually thought this was an argument that labor unions had fought and won many, many years ago. But no, in America, there are very loose restrictions, very limited restrictions on child labor. It's kind of wild. If you're a child who doesn't have to help your parents pay your bills, you're privileged. Yes, in comparison to children who are less privileged than you, but that doesn't mean that you're privileged across the board. I say this as a privileged person, by the way. I'm super privileged. Or was super privileged. Would this not make people leave working at small business for larger chains? I support the $15 minimum wage, but maybe I'm misunderstanding. No, you are misunderstanding. Because that exists already. Like, just get a different job at a larger company forehead. Well, that argument exists currently. Like, why aren't you... Go tell that to the fucking Walmart worker, you know what I mean? Or not Walmart worker, sorry. Go tell that to the guy who's working at a small business right now and getting paid nothing or barely making ends meet. Why don't you just go work at Walmart? You could probably get paid more. Why doesn't it work right now? Why doesn't that argument currently work? Feels like most of the people who say minimum wage jobs are for teens haven't worked them somehow. Working at a grocery store was outnumbered by people in the middle of their lives who had made this their career. I feel like an outsider being used as a tool to lessen their wages, sort of like a scab almost. The funny thing is, it's not even just that. They have to be people that literally have never been inside of a McDonald's or a grocery store. Like, do you close your eyes when you walk into a fast food chain? Do you close your eyes and close your ears and go, la, 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 I'm just here to grab my Tostitos chips and move the fuck out. Like, you literally see the goddamn middle-aged employees in front of you. Like, it's anecdotal. It also corresponds to the actual data, but still, like, even anecdotally, you literally see it. I do not see workers. They are invisible to me. Isn't national minimum wage a dumb idea? Genuine question. I mean, it depends. If you raise, first of all, I don't think so. I ideologically speaking, I don't think so. I think minimum wage is again a bandage solution to a broader problem of not having enough labor unions and labor protection as a consequence of collective bargaining agreements. Okay, but I don't even think that $15 minimum wage is good enough. If you ask me, in a perfect world, I would wish that people had made even more money than $15 when they're working. But when you look at the data and you look at what minimum wage should be at the federal level, right now $15 in minimum wage at the federal level is not too expensive for a place like fucking West Virginia either. That's the point. That's why the number is low at the national level, which will increase the minimum wage in states like San Francisco in places like San Francisco, in states like California, in states like Colorado, and in other parts of the country where they have already increased the minimum wage. They will be able to now increase the minimum wage even further. Okay? Because no matter where you live in the country, whether you live in Wyoming, whether you live in Omaha, whether you live in, Alabama, $15 minimum wage isn't too much. It's a decent starting point for those places. And it's still low for all the other areas that I spoke of that already have higher, or that have already raised their minimum wages. $15 hours is too low for where I live, which is Reno. Most places already pay that around here. Yeah. Honestly, what's probably happening is that these people just live in rich suburban areas where all the people working these jobs are teenagers because they can be true in their privileged areas. What? Anyway, we always have this convo around minimum wage whenever we have a convo about minimum wage. It's a good thing overall. I recently got a raise of $20 an hour in New York City, and I still have to commute 2.5 hours each way because I can't afford reasonable housing. In New York City? Dude, if I were you in New York City, I would look into getting an apartment with some friends, because right now, especially because of COVID, the rental market is kind of fucking primo. Even if it's literally getting a fucking like, people don't want to live inside of apartments. That's why it's pretty fucking decent. And I heard that the same thing is happening in San Francisco as well. It's still going to be expensive, but it will be way more affordable than ever before. In the past, it was impossible. In the past, it was fucking impossible. Like, there's no living in New York City. If you're living in minimum wage, you have to commute 2.5 hours. But you could now technically feasibly find a 3-bedroom apartment with some other people. You're always saying that there's one good thing about the scraps they give us, SSI, pre-existing conditions protections, and these things are hard to take. Yes. If American workers get used to $1 raise every year for the next 4 years, let's see them try to argue against $16 in 2026 and $17 in 2027. Yeah. New York City rents are at or below 2008 levels. Yup. From what I understand, even San Francisco rent is going down, which is good. And of course, this isn't the same for like buying a house, because everyone is still buying houses, or wealthy people are still looking to buy houses. They're trying to move out of their apartments and like buy a house for themselves or have a backyard and shit. So that's part of the reason why it's now cheaper than ever in recent years to be able to rent a place because of COVID. That's not true at all. My friends are paying $2,300 for a 2-bedroom and they work at coffee shops. It's not livable. What? Here come the fucking anecdotes. I'm saying, obviously you have to budget it on your own, but this is a good time to look for, as long as you have like a 3-bedroom or something. This is a good, guys, you're talking to someone who lived in the kitchen of a frat house, okay? When I first moved to Los Angeles. Like, I every single piece of fucking furniture I owned until like this past year is literally trash of other people. Like I would just troll around. If I would find like a fucking couch in someone's front yard, boom, new couch. Like I know Los Angeles is very expensive. What about middle wage earners who find themselves now much closer to the bottom of the earnings ladder? No, that doesn't. Guy, if you're middle class or if you're not making minimum wage, if you're making more than minimum wage, like your wages will increase as well. Also, what kind of fucking argument is that? Like, I hate that argument where it's like, oh, well, we're going to be similar to the poor now. Like the poor are going to have as much money as us is such a fucking idiotic argument. And anytime someone makes that argument, a wealthy like oil baron, okay, wearing a fucking monocle comes. Like whenever members of the working class get to engage in that crabs in a bucket mentality, you are making Monopoly Man and the Pringles Man fuck each other in the ass and come super hard like they've never come before. Like, oh, the poor people, they're fighting amongst themselves again. Oh no, I'm about to ejaculate. If everyone earns $15, then we're all going to be eating and shitting in the same tent or hut, maybe even a small commune where they use bottled piss for fuel. Yeah, for sure. I would rather have the people making my food make good money, pay a little extra than know that someone is struggling to make ends meet while I save 15 cents. Yeah. The cost of the foods is not going to fucking skyrocket either. That is where the free market is supposed to do its work, folks. No one's going to buy a Big Mac for $20. And McDonald's knows that, so they have to eat into their own profits. They have to eat into their profit margin. And that's what the rich know. And that's precisely why they tell you to fight amongst yourselves by putting out all these other counters to say, hey, $15 minimum wage. Well, that's too much money for you poors. That's, that's the reality.
Let's enjoy the game.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Biden, enjoy the game. Enjoying a game for a dude who owes American people $2,000, dude. I don't know about that. I see you hosting a Super Bowl party, bitch. Where's the $2,000, motherfucker? Hey, yo, motherfucker. You think you can fucking... Hey, this fucking guy over here, he's fucking enjoying his... He's enjoying his fucking Super Bowl party. Let me see your fucking shoes, Joseph.
Tradition that is going on as planned this year, the pregame interview with the president. Our Nora O'Donnell sat down with President Biden on Friday. She talked to him about China and also about the challenges of re-entering the nuclear deal with Iran, which has begun enriching nuclear fuel close to weapons-grade levels.
The U.S.-China relationship is probably one of the most important in the entire world. Why haven't you called Xi Jinping?
Well, we haven't had occasion to talk to one another yet. There's no reason not to call him. I probably spent more time with Xi Jinping, I'm told, than any world leader has because I had 24...
Because he loves him. Because he's gay for Xi Jinping. Folks, I know it. I know it. Look at that handshake. Fellas. Fellas, is it gay to...
Told in any world...
Is it gay to shake the hand of Xi Jinping, huh? After all, you're touching another man's hands, folks. That man might have even touched his own dick. So by transitive property, you're basically touching his dick. And that's gay.
Leader has, because I had 24, 25 hours of private meetings with him when I was vice president, traveled 17,000 miles with him. I know him pretty well.
There's a lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about. A whole lot to talk about. And he's very bright. He's very tough. He doesn't have, and I don't mean as a criticism, just a reality, he doesn't have a democratic small d bone in his body. But he is, the question is, I've said to him all along, that we need not have a conflict, but there's going to be an extreme competition. And I'm not going to do it the way that he knows this, because he's been sending signals as well, that I'm not going to do it the way Trump did. We're going to focus on international rules of the road.
Will the U.S. lift sanctions first? In order to get Iran back to the negotiating table?
No.
They have to stop enriching uranium first.
It appears there is a standoff.
Great. Great. I'm glad that we're banging on the war drums against Iran. Cool. Okay, so there is supposedly a battle of forces in the Republican Party, folks. So that's another thing that we're going to talk about today, which is the Liz Chaney polarizing plank of the Republican Party, the moderate Republicans that want to advocate for, reasonable solutions, that sort of thing, and then the Marjorie Taylor Greene part of the Republican Party. Now, Liz Chaney is a daughter of Dick Cheney, horrible, horrific monster, no morality, nothing. I mean, everything that she's saying, appealing to those reasonable Democrats and reasonable Republicans in the middle, is bullshit. It doesn't fucking matter. She sold out her own lesbian sister for a political position, something that even heartless monster Dick Cheney didn't do, by the way. Remember, Dick Cheney literally didn't run for president because he was like, my daughter's a lesbian, and that's going to be really fucking terrible. It was one of the reasons, one of the many reasons why Dick Cheney didn't do it. And Liz Chaney was like, yeah, no, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to fucking throw her under the bus. Who gives a shit? So, and Dick Cheney should be rotting in prison. And Liz Chaney is a horrible monster as well. But she's been saying a lot of the right things about how Donald Trump is bad and he needs to be excised as an aberration from the Republican Party and blah, 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 blah. Things that appeal to the fucking liberals, right? And Chelsea Handler now wants to fuck her or something because they're fucking ghouls, all of them. And I personally believe that this infighting is bullshit for the most part. Liz Chaney is basically creating a comfortable out for the Republicans to say, look, we're not the Marjorie Taylor Greene party. There's plenty of people that still are in support of me. I'm in a position of prominence in the Republican Party. So how could you say that? How could you say the Republicans are crazy? No, they're a big tent party, and that tent involves people like Liz Chaney, and it certainly involves people like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Wyoming Congresswoman Liz Chaney, still the number 3 Republican in the House. Congresswoman, welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Great to be back with you, Chris. Thanks for having me.
So, as Mike Emanuel just reported, yesterday, your home state, Wyoming Republican Party, censured you and called for you to resign immediately, saying that you had betrayed the trust of Wyoming voters. Are you going to step down?
I'm not, Mike and Chris, sorry. And look, I think people all across Wyoming understand and recognize.
Matt Gaetz literally went to Wyoming, openly admitted that that was the first time he's ever been in Wyoming, to a massive crowd, and talked about how Liz Chaney should be primaried. Okay? And people celebrated that. Mike Wallace? Why are people saying Mike Wallace? I said Matt Gaetz.
That our most important duty is to the Constitution. And as I've explained and will continue to explain to supporters all across the state and voters all across the state, the oath that I took to the Constitution compelled me to vote for impeachment, and it doesn't bend to partisanship. It doesn't bend to political pressure. It's the most important oath that we take, and so I will stand by that, and I will continue to fight for all of the issues that matter so much to us all across Wyoming.
They debated, your home state Republican Party, they debated for 11 minutes before deciding to censure you, the Congresswoman, the number 3 Republican in the House. What's that about?
Well, I think you have to read the language of the censure partly. I think, you know, that people in the party are mistaken. They believe that BLM and Antifa were behind what happened here at the Capitol. That's just simply not the case. It's not true. And we're going to have a lot of work we have to do. People have been lied to. The extent to which President Trump, for months leading up to January 6th, spread the notion that the election had been stolen or that the election was rigged was a lie. And people need to understand that. We need to make sure that we as Republicans are the party of truth and that we're being honest about what
GOP party massive split coming soon. You're wrong. It's not. It's not coming. You're absolutely incorrect. No, there is no massive split. They're all cucks. They're going to cuck themselves to the Matt Gaetzes of the party. Matt Gaetz, Donald Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene are going to be the future of the party. They are going to be the moderates, and even more psychopathic individuals are going to be the more psychopathic individuals that these establishment Republicans say they need to stop and purge within the party. This is the Republican Party. This has always been the Republican Party. This will continue to be the Republican Party. Okay? And there is no greater representation of that than the fact that they were completely united in, with the exception of 11 people that voted along with the Democrats, in removing Marjorie Taylor Greene from the fucking education committee position that she was in. Like, so why do you think there's a split? This person herself voted against removing Marjorie Taylor Greene. She is everything that Liz Chaney is criticizing within the Republican Party.
What really did happen in 2020. So we actually have a chance to win in 2022 and win the White House back in 2024.
You know, this happened with the Tea Party, and now you have the Freedom Caucus in the House. And those Freedom Caucus people became more fringe, some of them, and the others became more moderate, supposedly, in comparison to the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene. And there's going to be the Q Caucus, basically. They'll have another name. Either they will join the Tea Party Caucus, which is the Freedom Caucus, or they will, you know, have their own fucking thing. But ultimately, like maybe they'll do a Trump caucus, but ultimately it's going to get crazier and crazier. More of those people are going to join the Republican Party. She was cucked to vote for MTG's committees. Yeah, like she ultimately did that, by the way. So that completely goes against her being like, we need to excise Donald Trump, and then turn around and vote for Marjorie Taylor Greene to remain? No. Like, anyway. Chad, you know one thing that can help minimum work wages a lot is unions? Yes, that's true. Oh, the guy who died, Ron Wright, by the way, we were going to talk about this. The Republican who died, the U.S. Congressman for Texas 6th District, died today or yesterday. And the day before he died, or I guess 2 days before he died, he tweeted this out. Democrats are choosing teachers' unions and special interests over the well-being of our students. The CDC says schools can safely reopen and proper precautions are taken. What are we taking? What are we waiting for? Malcolm, my old editor, not like YouTube editor, but copy editor, says, thank you for your well-considered position, Congressman. I look forward to seeing you follow. One of his relatives actually is in my chat. I know that. Shouts out to whoever Malcolm's, I think, cousin or something, nephew, who watches me. Thank you for your well-considered position, Congressman. I look forward to seeing you follow through and lead the effort in Congress to take on all those exaggerating the COVID threat. Yeah, he's great. I love Malcolm. No, he knows that the person was dead.
We have a little bit more sad news from the Capitol. We mentioned this at the top of the show. Texas Republican Congressman Wright, who had been battling lung cancer, died last night from health complications after being diagnosed with coronavirus. Wright announced that he contracted the virus on January 22nd and had been hospitalized for the past 2 weeks. He was first elected to Congress from the Dallas area in 2018. Before that, he served on the Arlington City Council and as Tarrant County tax assessor collector. Wright was 67 years old. He's survived by his wife, 3 children, and 9 grandchildren. Wright is the second elected member of Congress to die after contracting COVID-19, which has claimed the lives of more than 460,000 Americans. Louisiana Republican Congressman-elect Luke LaTow died late last year from coronavirus complications just days before he was supposed to be sworn in. Our thoughts are with Congressman Wright's family and all of the other Americans who have lost loved ones over the course of the last days and weeks to this terrible virus.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.
Thoughts and prayers, dude. Okay, let's go back to this.
You know, there really, Congresswoman, are 2 questions here. One of which is the role of President Trump. That's going to be debated in the Senate this next week, but also the future of the Republican Party. In Washington this week, you survived a challenge to your position as the House Republican Conference chair, but there was fierce blowback to your decision to vote to impeach the president. Take a look at some of that.
She didn't just go voter conscience on the day of the vote. She spoke ahead of time, 36 hours, put out a statement. And
why is it that America has such a disappointing Congress? Because in a lot of ways...
Seriously, because Matt Gaetz is a part of it. Like, actually. And Jim Jordan. I really do despise those people. They're such fucking freaks, dude. Matt Gaetz does something to me. It is very weird. He is a unique type of freak that really fucks me up. Like, I can't stand him. He is like every part of his personality, like just manifests. He's just oozing with like this grimy, sleazy fucking used car dealer energy, and it fucking sucks.
Liz Chaney is exactly like Congress. Deeply unpopular and owned by special interests.
Does it bother you that there was more open outrage among House Republicans to your vote to impeach the president, a vote of conscience, as you say, than to the years of misstatements by Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Look, I think that, first of all, with respect to Congresswoman Greene, we've all been very clear. The things that she has said don't have any place in our public discourse.
And also, there should be no repercussions.
And we, as
which is what I voted for.
Republican conference, should deal with that issue. We should have dealt with it. That's not something that the Democrats should be addressing on the floor of the House. We should have dealt with that. With respect to where we are as a party, I think that the vote in conference made very clear we are the party of Lincoln. We are not the party of QAnon or anti-Semitism or Holocaust deniers or white supremacy or conspiracy theories. That's not who we are. We believe in conservative principles and conservative values, and we believe in the Constitution. And the extent to which, if you think about the threats that the nation faces, and you think about what happened on January 6th, I talked to Officer Sicknick's mother this week, and I pledged to her, as I know many of my colleagues have, that we will not forget what happened on January 6th, and that the single greatest threat to our republic is a president who would put his own self-interest above the Constitution, above the national interest. You know, we've had a situation where President Trump claimed for months that the election was stolen and then apparently set about to do everything he could to steal it himself. And that ended up in an attack on the Capitol, 5 people killed that day. That's the kind of attack that can never happen again. Our institutions held, but we all have an obligation to make sure that they continue to do so, and don't look past what happened on January 6th. It was, you know, just over a month ago.
I just want to ask you one more question about January 6th. When you voted to impeach the president, you said this. He, quote, summoned this mob, assembled the mob, and lit the flame of this attack. Everything that followed was his doing. There has never been a greater betrayal by a president of the United States of his office and his oath to the Constitution. Congresswoman, one of the things you certainly are is a straight talker. Would you vote to convict President Trump of incitement of insurrection?
If I were in the Senate, I would obviously listen to the evidence. I think that that's the role the Senate has as jurors. I would also point out, though, Chris, that the Senate trial is a snapshot. There is a massive criminal investigation underway. There will be a massive criminal investigation of everything that happened on January 6th and in the days before. People will want to know exactly what the president was doing. They will want to know, for example, whether the tweet that he sent out calling Vice President Pence a coward while the attack was underway, whether that tweet, for example, was a premeditated effort to provoke violence. There are a lot of questions that have to be answered, and there will be many, many criminal investigations looking at every aspect of this, at everyone who was involved, as there should be. But I stand firmly by my statement. We've never seen that kind of an assault by a president of the United States on another branch of government, and that can never happen again.
So just to press that, if you were in the Senate, would you vote to convict?
If I were in the Senate, I would listen to the testimony. I would listen to the evidence. If you're a senator, you have a responsibility to be a juror, and I think that's very important. But I obviously believe and did then that what we already know is enough for his impeachment. What we already know does constitute the gravest violation of his oath of office by any president in the history of the country. And this is not something that we can simply look past or pretend didn't happen or try to move on. We've got to make sure this never happens again.
I want to pick up on because you criticized, at the very beginning, you criticized Democrats for voting to strip Marjorie Taylor Greene of all of her committees. After the House voted this week to remove her from those committees, you issued a statement and you said this: Speaker Pelosi and the Democrat majority have no business determining which Republicans sit on committees.
She's basically just going to say, like, listen. She's basically going to say, I think that this should be handled internally by Republicans. It should not be left up to Democrats. That sets a negative or a horrible precedent, one that could be abused even by Republicans against Democrats in the future, blah, 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 blah. It's just because you have no backbone, and that's the real reason.
Committees, but Congresswoman, your GOP caucus...
Because the Republicans literally, when left to their own devices, the only people that were on the verge of punishment within the Republican Party was Liz Chaney, not Marjorie Taylor fucking Greene. And not only that, but at least behind closed doors, they defended Liz Chaney, okay, in a secret vote, but they very publicly supported Marjorie Taylor Greene. So do with that information what you will.
Debated this issue and ended up giving Congresswoman Greene a standing ovation. So can you really blame Democrats for moving to act when the House Republican caucus didn't?
We should have, Chris. This is exactly the kind of issue that we should address inside of our conference. You know, if you get into a situation where...
But you didn't.
whoever has the majority in the House decides who sits on committees from both parties. You might as well not have anybody in the minority on any committees. So it should not have gotten to the point that it did. I don't believe that the Democrats have any business determining who from the Republicans sits on committees, but we should have dealt with it ourselves. And I think it's very important that we're absolutely clear that those views and those beliefs do not have any place in our public discourse. You know, we'll want to see action now from Congresswoman Green, you know, that backs up the kinds of words that we've seen over the last few days and the kinds of apologies. But we have to be very clear that's not who we are as a party.
I mean, that, of course, is the question, is whether it is who you are as a party or not, because all of this gets to where the GOP is. Here was Congresswoman Green's defense on the House floor this week. Take a look.
I never said any of these things since I have been elected for Congress. These were words of the past, and these things do not represent me. You see, school shootings are absolutely real. I also want to tell you 9/11 absolutely happened.
You say that her opinions have, your words, no place in the party, but she said this week that she raised $330,000 in 48 hours and that President Trump supports her. And I want to remind you that just the week before last, your House Republican leader, Kevin McCarthy, met with Mr. Trump at Mar-a-Lago and said the former president will campaign for Republicans in the 2022 elections. So the question is this still the party of Donald Trump, and does Marjorie Taylor Greene still hold a solid place in that party?
Chris, we're the party of Abraham Lincoln. We're the party of Ronald Reagan. We have to really take a hard look at who
it's a big tent, okay? First of all, fuck Ronald Reagan. Rest in piss, you fucking bitch. But also, we're the party of Abraham Lincoln. But, you know, we're also the party of Ronald Reagan, and we're also the party of Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's what the Republican Party is.
We are and what we stand for, what we believe in. I think when you look at both his actions leading up to what happened on January 6th, the fact that he was impeached in a bipartisan fashion, the fact that he lost the presidency.
You're also the party of Dick Cheney. You know, your dad, who is a horrific monster and a bloodthirsty war criminal.
The fact that we lost the Senate, we have to be in a position where we can say we stand for principles, we stand for ideals. Somebody who has provoked an attack on the United States Capitol to prevent the counting of electoral votes, which resulted in 5 people dying, who refused to stand up immediately when he was asked and stop the violence.
It's wild that this is the bare minimum, and yet Republicans have still found a way to like turn her into a martyr for the Democrats. Like, what she's doing here is literally the fucking bare minimum, okay? It's actually good for the future of the Republican Party so they can normalize. That's the reason why the Democrats have given the Republican Party this olive branch to be like, hey, just fucking say Donald Trump is bad so we can go back to business as usual and act like Ted Cruz is very different than Donald Trump, please. Okay? And the Republicans are like, no, we're not going to fucking normalize. No, we're freaks. This is us. That's the Republican Party. It's like, no, fuck you. We're fucking crazy.
That is a person who does not have a role as a leader of our party going forward. We have to make sure that we are able to convey to the American voters we are the party of responsibility, we are the party of truth, that we actually can be.
Yeah, okay, I can't listen. It's already done. Yellen stimulus plan can bring the U.S. to full employment next year. We're going to skip that. How Joe Biden defeated Donald Trump. That seems kind of sleeper. How to uncancel yourself. That's actually a video that I put in my lineup as well. QAnon followers react to Trump refusing to condemn them. Wait.
There's not supposed to be media present. It's a media blackout. One little piece of advice for the mainstream media is not everything can be debunked. The media is either...
Oh, before we continue with this, though, it is top of the hour. It's the second ad of the day, boys. We're running a 6-second ad break. You already know what it is. If you no longer want to see the ads, an ad-free broadcasting experience is possible for you. All you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. By connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, you get one free ad. What? No, you get one free fucking subscription where you don't see ads. Why am I saying you get one free ad? You don't get one free ad. You just don't see ads. Okay, here it is. Here it is!
They're going to have to get on the right side of history, or they're going to go down the ship.
You might think wearing a face mask would help a reporter go unnoticed, but not at this gathering of QAnon followers in Arizona just 2 weeks before November's election.
Take off those damn masks and leave them off.
That's me and my colleague there. Two of the very few people wearing masks at this indoor event in the middle of a pandemic. And the guy at the back of the room, he's known as the QAnon shaman, and he would go on to storm the Capitol in January.
Where we go one, we go all, I won't push you down, don't let me fall.
Where we go one, we go all, an infamous QAnon slogan promoted by Trump's first national security advisor, Michael Flynn.
Where we go one, we go all.
And played as an anthem at this meeting of Trump supporters.
We are at war right now, and we in this room understand that very, very much.
Obviously, you've heard the president talking about stuff, haven't you? Yeah. That QAnon thing. Yeah. Did he disavow it, anybody? No.
2 nights earlier, Trump had praised QAnon followers at a town hall with Savannah Guthrie.
Can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true,
So,
and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that.
Like, they're laughing, but they're basically laughing at this idea that, like, Donald Trump is not denouncing them by acting ignorant about them. And the implication there, okay, that is inside of that action, the lack of endorsement there implies that you know you are toxic, okay? Like, they know that they're fucking hogs. They know that they're crazy, or at least people think that they're crazy, and that Donald Trump is not fucking denouncing them, or only secretly is supporting them, and they still love it. But I guess the same could be said about, like, I don't know, Bernie Sanders. If he was asked to be like, you know, what do you think about HasanAbi, the Twitch broadcaster? He's like, I don't know who that is. And with a little wink and a nod, I'd be like, yeah, of course he's going to denounce me, you know? God, dude, I'm so incredibly not horny anymore. I'm happy now. What?
The message to the people in this room was clear. Trump was on their side.
So we have 17 days between now and a massive Trump victory. So how do you feel about that?
In the room, prominent figures in the QAnon movement, including Jim Watkins, who runs the hate-filled site 8kun, where QAnon messages are posted, and at least 2 people who would go on to Washington, D.C. on January 6th.
A lot of the time, all it really takes is keeping our eyes and our ears open to see who is on what side.
Jacob Chansley, the so-called QAnon shaman, who was charged for his role in the insurrection and went on a hunger strike in prison because they didn't have organic food.
We are at war right now.
And this man, Alan Hostetter, known for organizing anti-lockdown protests in California.
Nobody wants violence, and we are conditioned from the time we were children in this country.
The weird part about that is, like, you still went out and you purchased the Nazi flag. You know what I mean? Like, that's... Like, you went and you purchased a Nazi flag. Like, that's kind of weird. Even if you're putting fucking Gavin Newsom on it, that's still kind of a random, weird thing to do.
In California.
Nobody wants violence, and we are conditioned from the time we were children in this country to always think that violence is a horrible, horrible thing. Until we go back and reflect on our Revolutionary War. They picked up guns at some point and said enough. Until we reflect on the Civil War. We ended slavery by picking up guns and dealing with it that way. We don't want that to happen, but it always has to be something in the back of your mind.
Hostetter's home was raided by the FBI after the insurrection. Media was not allowed to officially attend the event, but any member of the public could attend, and I signed up using my name and work email address. Also in attendance was Travis View, a host of the QAnon Anonymous podcast, who has been tracking this conspiracy theory for years.
One of my big takeaways from attending the Q conference is that the QAnon movement is so much more than just the predictions or the feeling like you're getting inside information. It's about the community. The people there felt like they were part of something big and revolutionary, and that they were opposing absolute evil. And that made me feel like this is something that's not going to go away just because Trump lost the election.
Where we go one, we go all.
Yeah, it's a book club, but for fascism, okay? We've said this already. Yes, their hobby is doing fascism. That's what it is. They have gamified fascism, and that's what their book club is about. And that's what it is. It's just a fucking fascist cult that just loves to do fascism. It's great.
It is fascinating. And then you got the Q shaman guy on tape. I mean, that was what a coincidence that was. So you pointed out the sense of the...
No, it's not a coincidence. He goes to all the events, and he's from Arizona.
The community in that meeting. That QAnon would last past Trump. So, I mean, what do you think? Tell us, what do you think their next moves are?
Yeah, Don, I mean, it's not going anywhere, right? It's built now. It's so big. I mean, it was enabled by the infrastructure that was built in Silicon Valley that rewarded, lies and hate. It was obviously fueled by the former president, President Trump. But also, a lot of this is just really what we're seeing is so much of it is.
Says Fash is great now. Yeah, I'm being sarcastic, you fucking idiot. Obviously, I don't think it's great that there's fucking fascism going on.
Based on the existing sort of history of hate and racism in this country, which QAnon has enabled and given license to many Americans to now freely express openly. So there are all the questions and problems that Silicon Valley has given us, and also Trump, but a lot of this goes back and sort of, I think, just begins to scratch the surface on some of the more fundamental challenges of racism and anti-Semitism and hate.
How are they going to take what Marjorie Taylor Greene said today?
Well done. You played earlier in the show. I spoke during the week to a 27-year-old mom, a Trump voter, who used to be a QAnon supporter, and she's called it out now. She's realized it's BS. Marjorie Taylor Greene does not sound like a former QAnon believer, right? And what that mom who had left QAnon, what she told me was, when you see people in power, when you see senior Republicans failing to call this sort of thing out, it sends the message to QAnon believers that there's something to all of this, that they should stay believing it. They view it as an endorsement of their conspiracy theory.
It was the 4th of July.
How to uncancel yourself after going viral for QAnon.
This was the height of all of the panic and hysteria.
And then after that, damn, Themasius, you got fucking great lineup. After this, we're going to start moving into the Super Bowl stuff.
Surrounding the lockdowns.
I've been looking forward to this shit all my fucking life.
I ended up at the Target store that day. I had heard on the radio on the way over, there's no barbecues, there's no parties, there's no fun, there's no nothing. And I just saw the mask display.
Target? I'm not playing.
Dude, I love when working class individuals who are barely making ends meet demonstrate their political positions like this. It's the most working class thing you can do as a working class person, which is what this person definitely is.
And
there's nothing more working class than harassing fucking minimum wage workers. Super working class, mega working class behavior.
I lost it.
This shit's over, this shit's over, this shit's over, this shit's over.
I guess the point I was trying to make was that I was not feeling seen, I was not feeling heard. I felt like my freedoms and everything that I had worked for was being taken away from me, and I couldn't stop it.
This shit's fucking over.
The stuff that I was saying, was just intelligible. Like, it didn't even make sense.
Does everybody else do it? Well, I can't do it because I'm a blonde white woman? Fucking wearing a fucking $40,000 fucking Rolex? I don't have the fucking right to fuck shit up?
The rest, I guess, was history. 15 million views later, now I'm famous.
She loves it. No repercussions for this kind of behavior. And she fucking absolutely loves it, dude. It's absolutely just no repercussions for this behavior whatsoever. And it's great. She's banking on it. It's like that It's like that fucking girl who beat the shit out of the 14-year-old black kid. What was her name? The one that went on Gail's show and was like, "Ah, you stop it, sweaty. I'm the real victim here."
I first heard about the pandemic quite a few weeks before most people. It was January 27th. I was on my way home from opening Nobu here in Scottsdale. Probably the best night of my life, biggest night of my career. My brother called me up, I'll never forget. He said, "Hey, there's a situation down here in China and it's coming to the US and it's very scary." I just started Googling stuff online, pandemic hoax, COVID hoax, you know, and at the same time, people started to send links. So I just started clicking on everything. And you start watching like a video on YouTube, for example.
I did my own research.
You know, it goes into the next one and it goes into the next one. It really all begins with that one click. Really what QAnon is, it's an apocalyptic cult that preys upon your deepest, darkest fears and leads you to believe and convinces you that the worst outcomes for humanity are imminent. I have always been very natural health oriented, very wellness oriented, very into spirituality, you know, very into, you know, Ayurvedic healing. A lot of the ways that the QAnon information got disseminated, especially to women, I feel like, is through those channels. So, you know, you'd click on a video about...
I need to make an important point here, an important announcement. I kind of teased this already. I was going to tweet it out, but I don't know if I should anymore. But you guys know that I am fascinated with crystal ladies, like with crystal girls. And I've talked about this before, but like the yoga, self-help, crystal side of the internet totally fucking went anti-vaxxer if they weren't already. And also went like QAnon conspiracy route. So many of those crystal mommies turned into QA moms, right? We've talked about this before. I also have an additional announcement on that. I think that crystal girls are now plant girls. The ones that didn't go the QAnon route during the pandemic started taking care of plants. Like so many alt and so many like crystal mommies have turned into plant mommies. Or both at the same time. The new hot girl shit is not crystal girls anymore, it's plant girls.
Foods to eat, you know, to keep yourself healthy and boost your immunity in the pandemic, and it would end up being something about how deadly vaccines are. The content would really shift quickly, but once you click on it, you know, the next 10 videos would be about how there is an imminent genocide being purported by the New World Order under the guise of a health crisis. I really aligned with the spiritual stuff, with the we are on the dawn of the age of Aquarius. You know, we're on the precipice of a big change in humanity, this great reset.
Everyone always made fun of me. They said, "Hasan, why are you such a coomer? Why do you know these things about crystal girls and like, you know, horoscope Twitter and shit like that?" Well, guess what, dude? Guess what? I was fucking right. This is why I was able to call this shit out ahead of time before other people were talking about fucking how the crystal mommies that turn into anti-vaxxers, okay? And COVID deniers. So my coomerism actually helped me get ahead of the curve.
The world is going to change in a really positive way. We, at some point along the line, are going to be aided by benevolent spirits and aliens, basically. And I could prove it, you know, and I was showing that in my stories. I realize now, for people looking at it and like not knowing like what was going on in my head, it probably looked really bizarre. I've been in corporate PR for my entire career, and for once, I really...
Wait, fake news of Iraq's possessing weapons of mass destruction led to the U.S. invasion of Iraq? Yeah, but that's... See, this is what fucking pisses me off. Like, that's real. That's not fucking fake. That's a thing that is real. That the American government and mainstream media lied about fucking Iraq possessing weapons of mass destruction so we could invade Iraq. That's not fake news. That is entirely different than the pandemic shit. Ah! It wasn't the news, it was the Defense Department? Yeah, right, it wasn't the fucking news yet. Tell that to the New York Times, motherfucker. That's not true at all.
I've been in corporate PR for my entire career, and for once, I really felt like I was storytelling something, you know, interesting and creative that I wasn't like being tamped down. I was on QAnon like it was my job. I mean, I'm a busy type A person, and all of a sudden I had nothing to do with myself. You know, people are like, well, why didn't you just go work out? Or why didn't you go, you know, learn a new hobby or learn a new language and stuff? And it's like, well, I was petrified of the pandemic and everything and all of these like crazy ideas about this genocide that was before us. How could I possibly get on the Peloton when, you know, I have Nazis to fight? Seriously, that's how I felt. I think this is better. What would it have been like for you 6 months ago watching Joe Biden be inaugurated? Would you have perhaps even traveled to Washington to demonstrate if you were still in the QAnon world? When you go down that rabbit hole and you're stuck in the QAnon echo chamber, all you can think about is the worst possible outcomes for this country and ultimately for humanity.
You're laughing. You're laughing. You disgust me, chat. She's over here talking about how she couldn't ride her Peloton, and you're laughing. How dare you? Do you know how hard it is when you can't get on your Peloton and instead you defeat the Nazis by going to the mask section at a Target and breaking it apart? It's funny to you, huh? It's funny, right? Yeah. Yeah, you disgust me.
And getting out of that, you know, all I can see is...
I bet you would laugh if you heard that she also couldn't even enjoy her gold-flaked matcha tea anymore. She still consumed it, but she couldn't enjoy it like she once did, knowing that there are Nazis out there at Target. Yeah. Yeah, that's real funny, dude.
Is
yeah.
A positive future, you know, no matter who is in office. My interest and involvement in QAnon really put a strain on my marriage quickly. It was all I could think about. It was all I could talk about.
You know what a Peloton is? Yeah, it's like that fucking insanely expensive stationary bike that like super rich people have in their apartments, right? And you basically get into a class with other people and you're like biking in a class, in like a class bike. And there's like a monthly subscription too. I think it's like, it's a bike cult. Yeah, it's like a bike cult for rich people. It's a cult bicycle, LMAO. Oh, it's $40. Bro, it's $40 per month, or is it $12 per month? It's a stationary bike with a Zoom call. Yeah. Super rich people. I know a couple of less than super rich people who do it. Okay, it's like it's for people that have a fuckload of money to spend on a bike that they're never gonna fucking use, okay? And I say this as someone who has like a gym membership to Equinox. It's $40 and it's $40 a month, and the original like price of the bike is fucking crazy. Yeah, the bike is like the bike's like 1,000 plus. It's like 1,200 or like $2,000 or some shit like that. No, it's not 10K. You're lying.
Sat me down and he was like, I feel like we're losing you. This is scary. I need you to snap out of it. You know, this is nuts. I wasn't having any of it because one of the things that, you know, the cult does and why QAnon acts like a cult, operates like a cult, it convinces you to not trust any of the people.
Did your fucking chair cost that much? I think it was less. My chair was My chair was expensive, but I think it was less than that. You guys should remember I did it on stream, I think. I think my chair was like $1,500 or something.
You would trust, especially if they come to you and tell you that what you're doing is wrong.
You don't have clearance. You don't have clearance.
Okay.
You don't.
You're a spokesperson,
Yeah.
correct?
For the
Oh, this is the lady?
Okay.
Oh!
Call Donald Trump and ask him if you don't believe me.
Do you have his phone number?
Do I have his phone number? I'm on the phone with him all the time. I'm fucking wired.
I lost touch with reality.
Oh
and
yeah, she was. Oh my god, we had defenders of her in the chat. I remember because I was making fun of her, and someone was like, "She's clearly having a manic episode. Like you're being ableist." You guys remember that? Yeah, you know what she was having? An affluenza episode, dude. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah, there were people in the chat fucking yelling at me because I was making fun of her, and she was like, "This is so ableist." LMAO got the same shirt for $250. Yeah, you can get secondhand Herman Millers for very affordable prices in comparison to how expensive this was. It's one of the most expensive things I own is the chair and the desk, but it's expensive because I spend 12 hours a day on it. It's like getting a fucking PC that is expensive. I have an uplift desk. My chair and my desk are more expensive than my car. How much for that chain? This chain? Like fucking $1? I don't know. Is the Herman Miller a huge difference? It's pretty good. My neck is a problem only because of the way I sit, and it's always going to be fucking bad no matter what. You recommend that chair? It's good. It's a good chair. It's a little weird to a little weird to adjust to it. The bike is only $1,900. How is that expensive? Dog, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking insane, dude? $1,900 for a stationary bike? It's like you can get a decent stationary bike for like $200, brother. And then also on top of that, it's like $40 a month too. It's not even a bike that you can get utility out of it. Like you can't fucking you can't bike around and like do Postmates to pay off the bike. It is a stationary bike. I no longer have lower back pain though, and I think it's probably the chair is good. I don't recommend it for everybody, obviously, because it's so fucking expensive. You can find secondhand versions of it. I mean, you can find the same thing at like half the price or way cheaper than that. Any GTRP later? Yes. Yeah, but you only sit on that chair 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yeah, if I didn't have back problems, I would never get something so expensive. And if I didn't also spend fucking 12 hours a day on this right here, I wouldn't do it.
Understanding of what that means. I could not comprehend what was happening. There was just something so delicious for people to observe somebody having a mental health breakdown, and it's really sad.
You spin around and just put your phone down.
What?
First, okay? You should put your phone down.
Oh my God. I'm not in the mental health profession, but I can tell you, if you sit down with a doctor and start telling them there are reptilians in the government, they are going to hospitalize you. And that's exactly what happened to me. When I walked into this mental health evaluation facility and it was full of drug addicts and homeless people, it was such a far cry from, where I had come from. That was A wake-up call wasn't until, you know, I had actually left the hospitalization.
Thank God she like actually saw a poor person for the first time, or she was like treated like a poor person for the first time, and that was an immediate wake-up call for her, which is precisely why like she also gets to have this Vice interview as well, because she's a rich person. She's from the appropriate caste, okay? She's not an untouchable. So when you're from a higher caste and you get lowered to that position, then all of a sudden, like, that's news, you know? A dog biting a man is not news, but a man biting a dog is. And this is that. Because this isn't supposed to happen under capitalism, but it did.
And, you know, realized I had been canceled. My husband actually filed for divorce. It like occurred to me that something is very wrong, you know, with my health. That's, you know, really when I had a soul-searching moment, and I was like, I need help for this. I can't do this on my own. I want to do it on my own, but I can't do it on my own. If I could tell you the level of hateful communication that I would get every single day on my phone for months, kill yourself, I hope you die, here are instructions on how to kill yourself, I put a spell on your 2 little dogs and they're gonna die tonight. I didn't want to exist.
Why is that a threat, dude? That's the funniest fucking death threat I've ever heard. Wait, so does she still believe in like curses and stuff, I wonder? Like, how does that work? That's kind of weird.
I mean, let alone go to the grocery store or get my nails done. And I got a phone call about a month and a half later while I was still like in the
fucking
program. A very well-known, you know, prominent real estate developer.
I've been ex-prof. I gotta pee again, holy shit.
I'm gonna be in town next week and I want you on the team. And I was like, are you kidding? Like, have you been living under a rock for the last 8 weeks? Like, nobody wants to work with me. Haven't you heard? Like, I'm done. I'm canceled. And he's like, oh, yeah, I've heard, I've seen it. I don't care. I got off the phone and I was like, oh my God, he's right. I didn't want to live in a hole, you know? I didn't want to live in a hole, but I didn't know what to do. And I wanted to keep going. And I wanted to empower other people and show other people how I did it, because it was not easy. And it's not something that anybody else can do for you. I had to do it myself. I had to uncancel myself. It's the perfect brand for me because I am really the first person to own crazy. I have a book deal, which will be multiple books. I know it will be a bestseller. I have a television series that's like a reality show style thing. I sold film rights to my life to a big studio in Hollywood. So, I mean, I guess my life is really just beginning.
Why do you deserve a second chance?
I deserve a second chance because I'm a good person. And I believe, you know, everybody deserves a second chance if they are indeed good people and they do the necessary work to better themselves if they've screwed up. People have such varied opinions about me. You know, it really hurts my feelings when people say that I'm this, you know, entitled.
Dude, nothing is as powerful for conservatives like a dose of fucking experiencing just a crumb of what normal people go through every fucking day. Just a sliver. Like, she literally is like, I saw a poor person. I got a new job as a consequence of like going viral, and you know, I was super canceled. It's like, dude, that's the opposite of cancellation, okay? Like, she's not even fucking talking about the bad parts. Like, oh my fucking Lord, dude.
Why do you deserve a second chance?
To my life, to a big studio in Hollywood. So, I mean, I guess my life is really just beginning.
Why do you deserve a second chance?
Like, oh, dude, I hate this. I hate this world. Seriously, fuck this world, dude. It's just seeing shit like this makes me so mad. I'm sorry. Like, not even a fucking crumb, not even a sliver of justice. There is no divine justice. You see shit like this, and you are reminded that it's just like, that doesn't happen, okay? That only happens in the fucking movies, which are made by people like her, and are made by people, made for people like her, and also are apparently about people like her. So... it's great. Fucking great.
I deserve a second chance because I'm a good person. And I believe, you know, everybody deserves a second chance if they are indeed good people and they do the necessary work to better themselves if they've screwed up. People have such varied opinions about me.
Unless you're a poor person, in which case, then, you know, God has kind of given you the only chance you had, and you probably did something bad in your past life or something. I don't know. I'm a very spiritual person, and now I believe that, like, you know, like, you are probably going to be a snail in the next life or something. Because, honestly, like, you're a bad person if you're poor. Sorry. It's just kind of the real thing. Like, it's hard. But I'm thankful that you're poor because it taught me not to be poor. When I saw you at the drug clinic, it's very important for me to understand that.
You know, it really hurts my feelings when people say that I'm this, you know, entitled, spoiled person. They took one look at what happened.
Doing the accent of the women you date.
Anything about who I was before. They see what I look like.
You gotta fucking hurt me, dude.
They see the Rolex or whatever, and they make a judgment. I think I'm very easy to hate.
They see my Rolex and they make a judgment. First of all, you wear the Rolex literally for that judgment, okay? Nobody wears a Rolex to be like, I'm actually being really modest right now and humble. No, the entire purpose of a Rolex is a fucking flex, dipshit. Okay, that's one. And two, you just don't like that people aren't responding to your fucking flex in the way that you want them to, which is, you know, positivity. Like, oh my God, you have a Rolex. Well, let me roll the red carpet over. You can just, you know, you can come in here and destroy this Target. That's precisely why she even mentioned the Rolex herself while she was ripping the fucking mask off the shelves at the Target. Okay? That's it. People judge me because I have so much power and wealth. I hate it. I hate it. You don't fucking wear the Rolex, idiot. Do you need to wear fucking Christian Dior pearl necklaces? No. Dumbass. This video is so bad.
Glance, I guess.
I can't take this Rolex off. It's glued to my arm. Why are you making fun of me? This was such a dog shit fucking video. Oh my God. Wearing a Rolex to signal that you can't be held accountable for your actions? Yeah. Good video by Vice. Very cool. Yikes at the slut shaming? What? What? Please explain to me how this is... How is this slut shaming? What? I'm so confused as to where the slut shaming occurred. Did it occur somewhere? Like, I was making fun of her for wearing a Rolex and crying about it, but oh, it was bait. It is because the chatter thinks she's a slut and you are shaming her? I don't know, maybe. That could be a self-report, dude. It seems like a self-report where he was like, yeah, this person is a slut. You shouldn't shame them or something, which is ironically slut shaming. Bait. It was bait. Oh, dude. Come on, dude. Blonde or brunette? I do not care. Like, I have no preference. Okay, this is a good way to... Why companies want you to think they care.
Can you tell us about content?
This is actually a really good segue into talking about the fucking Super Bowl ads. So let's get started on that.
Consumerism.
These liberal boycotts are always an embarrassing failure.
We're going to boycott the boycotters.
You need to be both a political activist and a consumer activist.
Wait, before we get to that, a $15 minimum wage would allegedly pull 900,000 Americans out of poverty, but it would also kill 1.4 million jobs, according to the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office. The left prefers policies that feel good over policies that actually do good. Does he not understand that the Congressional Budget Office is literally saying, even with 1.4 million jobs being lost, that more than, first of all, it's not even 900,000 Americans, it's more than that. Millions of Americans will be lifted out of poverty. Does he literally not realize that that is baked into the 1 million plus people that will be lifted out of poverty? As in, like, you're basically saying that this is a good policy regardless of the potential negative consequences? It's Charlie Kirk who said that, but that's very strange. Why would it be more than 900,000? 900,000 Americans getting lifted out of poverty? It's much higher than that. If your business requires you to pay below minimum wage, your business deserves to die. I don't know about the slut shaming, but you are being a bigot to sexy beach blonde women. She was so hot like spicy Wendy's nuggets.
Being a consumer. It's one of the few things that we all have in common, and it does have its perks. Consumerism is how we got smartphones, guns, smartphones that look like guns that look like smartphones, and YouTube videos of people shooting smartphones with guns. While we don't really have a choice whether we are consumers, we do have a choice in what we consume. And a majority of Americans want the things they buy to reflect their values.
The negative employment effects are totally bullshit. It's been so extensively studied. Yes. There is a meta-analysis that looked at studies conducted on potential negative consequences like job loss as a consequence of increasing the minimum wage, and found that they were pretty fucking biased. On top of that, we have real world examples like Seattle to look to. Like, there are, every single time the minimum wage increase becomes a conversation point, everyone always goes back to the exact same arguments. This is going to lead to job loss. And yet, it's always one big oopsie. It never led to job loss after the minimum wage increase occurs. Just like it didn't happen in Seattle, and just like it's not going to happen across the board in the country. There is only one group of individuals that may see some, not harm necessarily, but some issues, and that is small business owners. Okay, that's it. Some small business owners and their profit margins are going to decrease. Some of them might even lose their businesses, but very few in comparison to like the millions of jobs being lost. Blah blah blah. All this shit that people are talking about. It hasn't panned out. Small businesses are usual. Yeah, it is a net benefit. It 100% is a net benefit. And also, small businesses are usually exempt. No, there's no exemption for small businesses, and there shouldn't be. The only exemption for small businesses is the price hike isn't immediate regardless. But even if the price hike was immediate, they usually will bake in a separate price hike for small businesses. And that is going to occur anyway. Responding to the CBO's estimate of 900K job losses as a result of 50 minimum wage, Econ Jared on MSNBC says a member of the White House Council of Member of the White House Council of Economic Advisors says on MSNBC that other analysis, including his own, takes a very careful look at this aspect and the problem finds a much smaller effect in that regard. Yeah. But it wouldn't even be close to the amount of small businesses that major corporations tanked. No, nowhere near. Nowhere near. A lot of small business owners take home a fat wage anyway. They could easily cover the rise to keep workers, but don't want to. Would that make it harder to start a business? Guys, you know what would make it easier to start a business? Owning slaves, okay? But you don't do that. Like, that's illegal, immoral. You understand that. You could very easily hire child labor. That would make your business survivable. You could pay them fucking next to nothing. Why does that argument not work? Well, because you understand that it's immoral, indecent, inhumane, and it doesn't work. And luckily, in most developed nations around the fucking world, you can't do that. So why do we have this argument about $15 minimum wage? You're basically fucking saying, like, my business can't survive unless I, pay close to nothing. Unless I underpay my employees. And the frustrating part about that is, like, you're basically saying, like, my business can't survive. Okay, then your business doesn't survive. What happens when your business doesn't survive? Do you get fucking killed? If you're a small business owner and you have a bunch of fucking employees and you're underpaying them, you're paying them less than minimum wage, and you're paying them less than minimum wage, then what do? Like, you can't raise the wages because your business won't survive. Then what do? Do you get thrown in jail if your business fails? No, you just become a worker yourself. And that's the reality, is that so many business owners know the reality for workers in the marketplace, in the job market. And that is a destiny worse than fucking death for them. And that's precisely why they act like you're going to fucking die. And this is very selfish of me, I know. And people will say, Hasan, fuck you. That's so selfish. It's so fucking selfish. Okay, well, it's very selfish of you to not pay your fucking workers livable wages then. A debate lord is going to call you a hypocrite because you champion material conditions? What do you mean champion material conditions? The reality is we have a lot of safety nets for business owners. If their businesses fail, there are more safety nets for them to recover financially, especially because you can't start a business without enough leverage or enough capital that you own already, that there are significant ways that you can recover from a loss like that, whereas the same amount of recovery does not exist for the workers. Start talking in bullshit econ terms, just say the public marginal benefit would outweigh the marginal cost put upon the employers. I mean, I already did say that without using the econ terms. That is precisely what this CBO estimate shows, by the way. And that's why a lot of neoliberals are even on board with a $15 minimum wage increase, for the record. Was this the, I think this might have been the, no, this isn't the meta-analysis, is it? CEPR thanks to Ford Foundation for financial support. Oh, brother. No jobs lost conclusion. Economists have conducted hundreds of studies of the employment impact on the minimum wage. Summarizing those studies is a daunting task, but the two recent meta-studies and analyzing the research conducted since the early 1990s concludes that the minimum wage has little or no discernible effect on employment prospects of low-wage workers. Yeah, the people who say, what about fucking inflation, rarely factor into the reality that inflation, well, not inflation, but inflation has been occurring regardless of the minimum wage increase or decrease. Like, is it true that U.S. doesn't have any pensions so you can invest in stocks to stop working at a certain age? The United States doesn't have as many pension plans anymore because, yes, 401ks have taken its place, which further privatizes or at least financializes people's retirement plans and makes it feel like the average worker has a stake in the market. And they technically do, but it's minuscule in comparison to what the wealthiest gain from the stock market. Isn't minimum wage growing slower than inflation is increasing? Minimum wage is the same, brother. If adjusted to the last time minimum wage was increased, to the minimum wage was increased to inflation, it wouldn't be $15. It would be like $22, I think. There is some countries have adjusted minimum wage to the cost of living. We do not have that. Minimum wage does not adjust to the cost of living in this country. Minimum wage does not adjust to productivity in this country. Wages do not adjust to the productivity in this country. Lowest minimum wage is $7.25 in Alabama. Yeah. 22 accounts for productivity increases too. Oh, sorry. Would increasing minimum wage incentivize automating away low-paying jobs? I support the increase. Just a question. As far as I can tell, they're being automated away regardless of minimum wage increasing. They are being automated away regardless. That's all that fucking business owners care about. But automating menial labor and unfulfilling tasks is not a bad thing. The bad thing is that creates less of a profit-sharing opportunity for businesses. That's it. That those profits end up going to a smaller and smaller fraction of society rather than the workers themselves. That's the real problem. The problem isn't automation. The problem is the economic organization that we exist under. Because if it worked, if we had a more humanitarian approach to this, then all of a sudden, with automation, workers would have to work less hours for the same pay or more pay, as a matter of fact, depending on how much the business is generating, how much revenue the business is generating. Less jobs available for lower IQ, literally 95 IQ and under cannot be employed. I think people who are under 95 IQ, such as yourself, will still have opportunities. There will be make work for low IQ individuals such as yourself. And I assume you're a low IQ individual because you think that like low IQ is indicative of your job opportunities or something like that. If you're engaging in like that weird eugenics bullshit, you probably are unironically stupid. So don't worry about it, brother. You'll have a job. Punching down on people is so cool. Yes, punching down on someone who is literally punching down by saying like, people under 95 IQ are not going to be able to find jobs now because of you, and that the implication that like people with a lower IQ than fucking 95 can only work minimum wage jobs and shit like that, and we should underpay them regardless of how much they fucking add value with their labor, regardless of what their IQ is or whether fucking their IQ actually means anything beyond what you've read on some fucking weird Nazi blog, is pretty stupid. And if you say something stupid like that, then I'm gonna dunk on you. And if that triggers you, then but the other thing doesn't, then you're a fucking moron as well, and you don't recognize what the other person was saying, or worse, you agree with them, and therefore you yourself are also low IQ, and, you know, that's why you're upset. The U.S. Army highest employer will not employ below 75 IQ. That's all I'm questioning. Okay. That has absolutely zero to do with what you were talking about. That has absolutely nothing to do. And also you said 95 and now you're saying 75. And I don't believe that either, by the way. Have you met someone in the fucking military? I guess that's yet another example that the IQ test is completely fucking idiotic and doesn't really prove whether someone is smart or not. Because I've definitely seen some fucking morons in the U.S. military. I'm gonna move goalposts until my argument's right. Yeah, literally. He's like, what about what about the president? Huh? Huh? I've heard you say ableist things about the president. Oh, got him. What if you're a baby, dude? What if you have no object permanence, dude? Huh? Got him. Fucking owned, dude. Anyway. Let's keep going with this.
Be they political, moral, or environmental. And companies have figured that out.
People need to care more in order for change to happen.
In a time when people feel especially powerless, it's exciting to think that you could use your wallet to fight for the things that you believe in. That's why some people responded to Chick-fil-A's support of anti-LGBTQ organizations back in 2012 by not eating there. And others took a different route.
God bless you, Chick-fil-A.
At any given time, about a third of Americans are boycotting one or more companies for any number of reasons.
Y'all already want a virtue signal. Let's call it boycott all sports.
McDonald's breakfast, y'all suck. I'm not boycotting y'all. I have to eat this.
Don't ever go to fucking Mattress Firm because they'll fucking kidnap you. I'm not fucking joking.
If you want to get the attention of our corporate overlords, you could do what Dave Chappelle did when he called on his fans to boycott him.
If you ever liked me, if you ever think there was anything worthwhile about me, I'm begging you, boycott me.
Chappelle was upset that Viacom was making money by licensing The Chappelle Show, something he doesn't get paid for. And sure enough, his self-boycott got Netflix and HBO Max to stop airing the show. But very few of us have a platform as big as Dave Chappelle's, and even fewer of us are Dave Chappelle. But if you are Dave Chappelle, hello. How are you? Thank you for watching. If you're really looking to make a point, you might consider joining forces with a lot of other pissed off people.
More than 99% of the Negro people of Montgomery rose up with a bit of indignation, a righteous indignation, I would say.
One of history's most famous boycotts, the 1955 Montgomery bus boycott, followed the arrest of Rosa Parks. But it was successful in large part because black people made up 3/4 of the customers using the bus system. So an organized protest was a serious financial hit. Even then, the boycott had to go on for over a year and only ended when the Supreme Court stepped in and ruled that bus segregation laws were unconstitutional. Because apparently, for many white Southerners, the threat of their city going broke wasn't nearly as scary as the threat of racial equality. Ooh, I can vote now. These days, boycotting is a lot like hooking up. Social media has made it easier to do, but not necessarily better. Many campaigns end in calculated corporate PR statements, spending millions on ads that at least say they'll do better. But like anyone you're in a toxic relationship with, stops just short of actually apologizing.
From now on, Facebook will do more to keep you safe and protect your privacy.
It's a new day at Wells Fargo because earning back your trust is our greatest priority.
It's time to move in a new direction. And I want you to know just how excited I am to write Uber's next chapter.
The problem with fighting a company that may or may not be morally bankrupt, but definitely not financially bankrupt, is that it takes a lot of time. A sustained boycott is often credited with finally forcing Nike to stop making its products with child labor and sweatshop wages. That campaign spanned the late 80s and most of the 90s. That's 2 separate decades for those of you who abhor Amazon's labor practices but can't stand the idea of waiting 2 separate days for shipping. One of the hardest parts of taking an ideological stand against a corporation isn't necessarily that company, it's other customers. A successful boycott could inspire a counter boycott because for every action, there is an equal and opposite petty reaction.
Anytime a business takes a political stance, you run the risk of turning off a subset of your consumer base, and that seems to be exactly what Nordstrom's done here.
In 2017, liberal Americans turned on Nordstrom for carrying Ivanka Trump's clothing line, which, by the way, perfect clothes if you need to awkwardly force yourself into a conversation with world leaders who don't care who you are.
As soon as you start talking about the economic aspect of it, though, a lot of people start listening who wouldn't otherwise listen.
And the same with the defense side. When the store stopped carrying the line shortly thereafter, the Trump supporters showed up, or I guess didn't.
Because of your decision to drop Ivanka Trump, I will no longer shop at your store, nor will my husband or our 9 children or our 8 grandchildren.
Since most of us don't have an army of family members to call on,
got some productive ass loins, dude. Holy shit, good for you.
many people try to fight back against boycotts by doing exactly the opposite. Buying things, also known as a boycott, not to be confused with a boycott, which of course means sleeping on a cot twice a week and every other week. It's a scheduling nightmare. When liberals threatened to boycott Goya Foods after the CEO came out strong for President Trump, the president's supporters made their opinions known by suddenly becoming bean fanatics.
Everyone needs to buy at least $10 worth of Goya Foods.
I want to specifically buy with my own money some Goya brand items.
They want to move America in the direction of the United States of socialism. We need to stop them. Buy Goya.
We all know there's no better way to own the libs than consuming so much fiber that your tummy hurts. But at least buying beans gets you beans. A go-to protest for people angry at a company's politics has become destroying things they already own, or as I like to call it, looting yourself.
Here's what you do if you own any razors from the man-hating company known as Gillette. Pick them up, open the garbage can, throw it in there.
It's a gesture that certainly expresses one's emotions, but overlooks that pesky detail that the company already has your money. Amazingly, you can support a company for reasons other than showing your enemies what's up. There are now apps that allow you to scan a product code and see if the company that made it aligns with the values and causes that are important to you.
Wait, wasn't this literally in a fucking movie? Oh my god, this was the application that like Seth Rogen. Oh, why did I watch that movie? Oh my god. This was an application that Seth Rogen created in the movie where like old Seth Rogen comes back or is like cryo frozen inside of a pickle factory. Yeah. Oh God, it was such a bad movie. I can't believe I watched it. American Pickle, is that what it was called? Why did you see that? I don't know. I don't know why I saw that. I think Seth Rogen at the time was saying some based ass shit about Israel, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna fucking support Seth Rogen right now. I did the thing that they're talking about, where I got sucked into the consumer activism. I don't know. It was in the top of mind for me, so I watched. It was so bad. It was so fucking bad. What's your take on the filibuster? Yo, why don't you filibusting some bitches, dude? Yes! Oh, Jesus Christ, that was good. Fuck, man. Okay, let's keep going.
Your food can be GMO-free. Your cleaning products can come from companies that pay women equal to men. And your fur can come from companies that only kill annoying animals.
Together, we can spend our way to equality.
It is appealing to think that you aren't just paying for dinner or going on a shopping spree, that you're standing up for what you believe in. But finding the right companies to support isn't easy, especially when many of your go-to artisanal brands are owned by the very corporations you're trying to get away from. Companies spend millions of dollars branding and rebranding to attract conscious consumers, even when that image is at odds with what they actually do.
I challenge Exxon to disprove that it spends more on advertisements touting its renewable investments than it does on the renewable investments themselves.
Corporations would love for you to believe that it's your fault the world is a mess, caused by your failure to choose the most conscientious brands. But even if you were to perfectly curate every product you own to align with your views on, say, environmentalism, about a third of all carbon emissions come from 20 companies that aren't changing what they do just because you wipe your ass with environmentally friendly toilet paper. It's the consumer paradox. Our individual actions can't fix structural problems, but structural problems can't be fixed without individual actions, or at least actions to make sure that the people causing the problems are held responsible for fixing them. But since we have to buy something, it makes sense to put your money towards the companies, people, and things you believe in. Unless
there's no such thing as ethical consumption under capitalism.
You specifically disagree with the things that I believe in which case you are wrong.
It's top of the hour, every hour. It's time for this TikTok.
Yo, the homies are always like, "Where's my stimulus check?" Like, bro, how about you just stimulate me and shut up? Yes, Daddy. Yo, the homies are always.
The new TED Talk thing is so fucking stupid, which is why it's great. Okay, it's time for top of the hour, every hour. It's time for a 60-second ad break right now, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and NBs. It's time for a 60-second ad break. If you want to no longer see the ads, all you need to do is... Why did you say double ad time? Wait, did I skip an ad or something? I don't know. Well, anyway, all you need to do is subscribe. You can subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Here's the ad. Oh, the next videos are ads? Oh, yeah! Oh, my God. We're literally about to watch ads. Concerns grow over Marxism in America at Newsmax. That's great. All right. Now that we watch that, let's watch the big game fucking ads, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Who's ready, dude? Who's fucking ready? If they're fucking cringe, I mean, they're gonna be all cringe. And then we dive into NoPixel. Okay, let's do it. Cringe ass fucking Toyota commercial.
Mrs. Long?
Yes?
We've found a baby girl for your adoption, but there's some things you need to know. She's in Siberia, and she was born with a rare condition. Her legs will need to be amputated. I know this is difficult to hear. Her life, it won't be easy.
Why is this a Toyota commercial?
Mrs. Long?
It might not be easy, but it'll be amazing. I can't wait to meet her.
We believe there is hope and strength in all of us.
Dude, this is
Toyota,
so fucked
proud
up.
partner.
This is such an insanely fucked up ad. It's just emotional manipulation. It's when fucking chat is like, you've been avoiding, okay, buddy, why? And like fucking cries and shit nonstop. Like, this is that, but in ad form. It's like, buy a Toyota. And I am a Toyota owner, okay? I've had a fucking Camry for years. This is emotional terrorism. Literally. Jesus Christ, dude. What the fuck does this have to do with... Oh, God.
Of Team USA.
Okay, fucking yikes.
Matches, look! I'm you! Jake from State Farm. You couldn't find a stand-in who looked anything like me?
Have you seen mine?
It's like looking in a mirror, right? Now that one makes sense.
Look, guys, I don't even have a stand-in.
Of course you do.
Hold on, is that Drake?
That's right. Drake from State Farm. Like a good neighbor. Like a good neighbor. Stand-ins don't have lines.
Oh, okay.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This local...
Wait. Why is Drake so jacked? Why does he have a heart on his head? And why is he so fucking jacked? Dude, I hate it when I see people fucking doing better in the aftermath of the pandemic. Am I petty? I'm so petty. Like, I see people doing well during the pandemic. I'm like, fuck you, dude. You know what? Fuck yourself. Honestly, you're a piece of shit, okay? How dare you? How dare you do better, okay? Fuck you. I'm so fucking petty. I secretly, I'm like, fuck you. You know, fuck you. Oh, really? You took some time to yourself and worked out? Is that what you did? Huh? You fucking... You're your best damn self, dude? That's great. Great. Proud of you. Love your self-improvement journey. Love that for you.
Like a good neighbor. Like a...
This local access message is brought to you by Uber Eats.
You are literally, though, not fucking physically or mentally or emotionally, though.
Hey everyone, welcome to Wayne's World. Party on, Wayne. Party on, Garth. As a local access show, we want everyone to support local restaurants.
But we'd never manipulate you the way all these other commercials do.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's really sad.
Totally. We're better than that.
Yeah, we'd never shamelessly rely on a celebrity cameo.
Right, Cardi B?
Yeah, eat local.
Or jump on the latest trend.
Eat local. All right.
Local eats, Wayne's World.
So it's like making fun of all the other ads. Like that's what I'm guessing. Oh, it's Uber Eats too. Oh, that's great.
Yummy time, excellent.
I remember seeing a tweet about this, but it's like these are. I forget who tweeted this out. I feel bad about like repeating it without giving it a credit, but the Super Bowl halftime show ads are basically directed at the SNL audience. Or, and this is my addition to that joke, the Super Bowl ads are directed towards people that stand up and applaud during the Avengers like movie sequences. Like, that's it. They are mathematically created to trigger parts of liberal brains into going, that's fucking sick, dude. That's, I know that. I know that person. I fucking know that person, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna get fucking Uber Eats now. Adult Harry Potter fans, yes.
Oh, you got a delivery, David.
Yeah, Big Bird. You can get all sorts of things delivered from the neighborhood.
The neighborhood?
All from the people in your neighborhood. The people that you meet when you're walking down the street. They're the master chef, the burger flipper, the corner store owner bagging low-fat milk with gum and pink shampoo. They're the culinary artists with delicious cuisines.
That famous cookie shop in the magazine.
But if you're a worker, you are destined to die. And then it should turn into like fucking, if you're one of the delivery drivers, then you're gonna fucking die. And then they should do like fucking heavy metal in the background. Do you want benefits? Fuck you! You burn in hell, poor fuck! You scum!
All that?
Well, you can also get empanadas down the street.
Mango smoothie, sweet and tart.
From the big shops to the mom and pops, they can bring it to me a la carte.
Hey! They're the people that you meet each day.
Get more from your neighborhood, from convenience to corner stores. DoorDash.
I'm all right.
And for every order, we'll donate.
Dude, the branding is so fucking powerful on this, dude. It's just like, you're not actually just purchasing food and from a company that relies on a captive labor market that absolutely has to fucking do this or else they're gonna starve. You're actually supporting local businesses. That's what you're doing.
Donate $1 to Sesame Workshop.
Looks good, guys. Success! It's off in right place, right time. When opportunity knocks at your corrugated garage door, you roll that puppy up. Fiverr gets that. From graphic design to web development. Or even a PR expert for things like, I don't know, booking a press conference.
Isn't it crazy that, oh God, that's a nod to Donald Trump. Isn't it crazy that like most of the commercials we've seen so far are for tech giants and the entire purpose of these tech giants have been so far to disrupt like labor and skirt labor regulations for the most part. Like a lot of what big tech does is basically say, oh, well, this is a technology product, so all we're going to offer is like something that already exists, but we're going to do it cheaper for you because we know we don't have to literally fucking pay workers the same kind of things that other businesses would have to do.
Freelancers to get you where you want to be.
Ma, we found a 5th season.
Yeah! Is this a lobby? This is not a hotel.
When did Bud Light Seltzer start making lemonade?
Probably when 2020 handed us all those lemons.
2020 was a lemon of a year.
A surprising lack of honestly, a surprising lack of how terrible was 2020 though so far. This is the first time I have been reminded. Oh fuck, Twitch is broken again. Come on, Twitch. Do not refresh. It says I have 0 viewers. It's gonna fucking break or some shit. Anyway, what I was gonna say is there is a surprising lack of, like, you know, 2020 was bad, but we're all in this together. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I thought was gonna happen, but it's not.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
This is the first one that's like kind of like 2020 was shitty, right? And it's funny.
January, February, into March and April. Same way through. Every single second, every minute, every hour. All the whole year through.
It is intense right here.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
That's a lot of lemons.
Well, you know what they say when life gives you lemons.
We know the saying, Mark.
New Bud Light Seltzer Lemonade, packed with lemonade flavor after a lemon of a year.
You're watching Jake's Top 10, and these are all the funniest Super Bowl commercials from 2021. This video was created for education.
What the fuck is this, Demasius? What the fuck is this, dude?
Purposes in the year 2021.
I feel bad for kicking your seat on purpose.
I'm sorry for mansplaining. That's when a man...
I know what it is.
We should have just told you it's a boy.
I wish you didn't have to hear all that.
Sorry I called you Karen.
That's my name.
Sorry your name is Karen.
I promise I will not eat any more of your friends.
Really?
Okay, it might happen one more time.
Did you steal my Cheetos again?
People keep saying I look like fucking that guy, and I hate it. That this guy, the
I promise I will not.
Yeah, this dude from, what is it, the Schmidt thing or something? I've heard this before. Well, what is the movie that he's in or TV show that he's in? I don't, right? Hasan Crowder Pataro Fusion, Schitt's Creek. You look like the Eminem. Okay, good. That makes me happy because it is very triggering when people say that. I'm like, fuck you. I also don't really like him at all. I don't know why. There's like something that really... You're the worst on purpose edgelord and you look exactly like him?
Eat any more of your friends.
Really?
Is he funny? I fucking cringe.
Okay, it might happen one more time.
Did you steal my Cheetos again?
Just tell him it wasn't you.
But I caught you at the counter.
Wasn't me.
Saw you snacking on the sofa.
Wasn't me.
You even had him in the shower.
It wasn't me.
I even caught you on camera.
You're the one who granted access to your snacks. Don't talk surprised that she sneak behind your back. You gotta keep tabs before she empty that bag. Let's review the situation. Orange fingers, red flag. To keep.
If I had a time machine to go back in time, and I had an opportunity to make sure Trump wasn't president, or not watch this commercial, I would go back in time and choose the fact that, you know, I'm not going to watch this commercial. I would go back in time just to tell myself, do not do this. Do not engage in this. This is the worst thing you've ever seen in your life.
Keep your own stash, you got to hide.
And we're going to keep watching it.
If she asks where they are, you say forget her. Never admit to a word. And please don't upset her. And if she keep on snacking, I guess you let her.
Well, did you?
Wasn't.
Ashton Kutcher has dedicated his entire life to murdering sex workers, and this is like nearly as bad as that. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say about this commercial.
Me.
Okay. Well, that's the first time that's ever worked.
New Cheetos Crunch Pop Mix.
I'm talking about how what he does. He is like a big anti-sex trafficking guy, and most of the legislation that they push for ends up hurting sex workers in general. Sesta Fosta being the key one. Okay, and that's what I was referencing. God damn it! I thought I had a fucking political audience. You should know this stuff. Okay, you should know this.
Where is everyone?
Pringles Original. Barbecue. Pizza. The barbecue pizza stack.
Look, we're saved. We're going home.
Hey!
Jalapeno. Brunch. Ik redig ons starten.
Endless flavors to stack. Enjoy carefully.
Where's the Bud Light?
It's missing.
What a mess.
What the fuck? What is this, dude? What is going on?
Post Malone, Cedric, medieval people, Johnny, Dr. Galagos.
Yes, I am.
Still got those moves? You know it. All right, Bud Light legends, let's do this.
That's Bud Light. Bud Light.
My bad.
Hey, sing it, real man of genius singer.
That's kind of all I do.
Go on, guys, keep it going. Going up.
Dilly dilly! High five!
You got it.
Oh!
Yeah, he's not gonna make it.
I loved you, man. All right, let's get out of here.
Oh, the Bud Light's back.
Nice.
The Bud Light legend saved the day.
This is the worst thing that I've ever seen in my life. This is really... I love that this guy fucking titled this all the funniest Super Bowl commercials of 2021. It is... I am honestly shocked that they were able to get nearly to the level of cringe that the Mila Kunis fucking Ashton Kutcher commercial was able to get to with Shaggy.
Party's in my portal.
Superstars. Who knows what goes through their minds when the stakes are this high? When their legacy is on the line.
Sometimes you just want a hard seltzer.
A hard seltzer with no carbs.
With no sugar.
Because who needs that?
I want a hard seltzer that's USDA certified organic.
With no artificial aftertaste.
But in a world where most things seem real, sometimes they're not.
Don Cheadle.
Man, get off my boat.
That's fair.
New Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer is real. And it tastes that way.
Damn, bro. Because White Claw's fucking popped off, now every brand is just doing their own version of White Claw? Is that what it is?
You're not real. You almost fooled me. Lookalikes. Phony.
New Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer. As real as it tastes. Oh, and I'm not Christopher Walken.
Here in the Romo household,
we take things to the max. Bam! Honey, get my stretch pants. Oh, yeah. Honey, you still in bed?
Yep.
Bam! Bring on the traffic.
Bye!
Oh, yeah. That's why we love Skechers Max Cushioning footwear. They've maxed out the cushion for extreme comfort. Bam!
It's like walking on clouds.
Big comfy ones. Try Skechers Max Cushioning for yourself. Oh, yeah.
These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. That's right. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
That's a mighty fine pair of boots. Let's get them boots. I'll make payment 1, 2, 3.
I'll make payment 4.
Really?
Burn up!
What?
Ah, the backyard. It's had.
I have to pee so bad, but I just feel irresponsible leaving you guys with to watch this commercial while I'm not here to fucking maximize on the. Just, I have to pee. Hold on.
Quite a year. I say, let's keep this backyard thing going. That's why Scotts and Miracle Grow want to give you a chance to win the lawn and garden of your dreams.
Like mine. You know, just not better than mine.
Like mine, where you can work on your short game.
Like mine.
Oh, it's a little close. Oh!
It only turns left.
Come on, Leslie, crush your core.
I don't crush, Emma.
Dad, it's the red one.
I know.
The other red one.
I know.
Feeling good, like I should.
He still got it.
So text me now and win the lawn and garden of your dreams.
Hey, Travolta's, don't be tickety-talking on my grass.
Feeling blessed, never stressed.
What if this could change the world? A burrito. Yeah. You are so weird.
It could. It could change how we plant things, water things, grow things, pick things, move things, and transportation things.
What? That's not a thing.
It could make our farmers happier, more organic, more real, more soil helping, less carbon emitting, and world changing.
Hey, are you still talking?
Did I miss anything good?
Bronk,
What up, TB?
what do you think my next move should be? Give it to me straight. Maybe it's just time I hang him up.
I got one word for you. Retirement. If you retire now, you're gonna be walking on soft sand in a week. Just come to Florida and feel the wind in your hair. Retirement is like winning another one. Maybe I'll even join you.
On the Spotty Network, this is what Tom heard.
If you retire now, you're soft and weak. Just come to Florida and win another one. Maybe I'll even join you.
Just go win another one.
Like it's that easy, Gronk. Maybe it is. I still feel like I have a lot to accomplish. My goal is to win one more. And Gronk's coming with me.
I'm retired from retiring? Mom, where are my football pants?
Don't trust big decisions to just any network. Go with T-Mobile.
Okay, that was actually kind of funny. This one's actually not bad, especially because they ended up winning. But yeah, that's
the GO in 5G.
And I'm not soft or weak either.
T-Mobile is the leader in 5G.
33, 34, 35.
I heard Felix, not XQC, Biederman. I was talking to him about this, but he said that the watermelon flavored Mountain Dew is fucking poggers. Both Epic and Fortnite and poggers and PogChamp.
Hi, I'm John Cena, and I know how to count. In fact, knowing how to count could change your life on Super Bowl Sunday. Like, help you win $1 million. If you count all the bottles of delicious Mountain Dew Major Melon, our new watermelon flavor, in our commercial. $37, $38, $39.
I fuck with Mountain Dew. You guys already know they can do no wrong. I do the do. I I've already had like 8 today, so.
Whoops, your cousin from Boston. I did not see that coming. Anyway, Sam Adams Wicked Hazy IPA. Juicy, right? Can we not tell my mom about this?
Wait, they fucking made Sam Adams IPA? Wicked Hazy IPA? I thought Sam Adams was like the anti-IPA beer. What are you, some wicked smart dude? You gonna be drinking a fucking IPA? What are you? Wicked Hazy IPA dude! What's next? You gonna go back to school? It's over for these wicked dudes. Yeah, did you almost say gamer word? Always. Whenever I do a Boston accent, immediately the first thing that comes to mind is a gamer word, which is not even a gamer word originally, but it turns into a gamer word in that context, because if you are doing a Boston, Massachusetts accent, it literally, you're a gamer automatically. The R word? No, the Q. I see. I was gonna say Q word.
So, are you gonna buy the car?
Please, if I could just go home and discuss things with my wife. I've been here all weekend.
You can leave anytime you want.
Never go to a dealership again.
Well, that was painless.
Go to vroom.com, buy a car, and we'll deliver it contact-free.
Baby, hi. We're so glad you're here. Welcome to Earth, home to 8 billion humans who were also once babies. Even him. Right now, you only need to know 2 of them. And together, you make a family. These are also families. Neat, huh? Now, you're kind of a big deal around here. Watch this. Do anything right now. That baby is called Control. Enjoy it. Oh, and this? Oh, yeah, that won't fly when you're older, kid. And you get to have your favorite meal whenever you're, well, hungry. You'll go through a phase where you think everything is edible. Most of it isn't. But sometimes you can literally sleep whenever you want. Or not.
What are they selling me?
So Dad's head isn't on upside down. That's just a beard. Yep, being a baby is pretty great. Everyone is always thrilled to see you. Well, almost everyone. You can go.
Why does that baby look so old? This is one of those babies where it's like, what are you, like 70 years old? Are you a baby or are you an old person?
Like, go whenever nature calls. That's where we come in. We're Huggies. Hi. We make these and other stuff to help your parents keep you comfy. So you have time for something important, like finding your foot. Go easy, kid. Whoa, where'd he go? See, the thing is, baby, it's a crazy world, but you'll grow to love it. Well, most of it anyway. Get some rest now, kiddo. We'll be here when you wake up, which should be right about... Huggies, we got you, baby.
I hate babies? Is that what you said? Low-key, I do too, kind of.
Way back. I've been playing this.
Like, I think puppies are cuter than babies. Maybe it's because I haven't had one yet, you know? That's why.
Game since '82. You ever think Pac-Man gets
Dude, I don't understand the fascination people have with babies. Like, they can't do anything. Like, you know what I mean? All they do is, like, fucking smell weird and poop and fart and throw up and cry and shit. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm saying it, dude. Like, babies, they're wrinkly in weird places and they're fucking ugly, too. Whereas, like, puppies, they're cute, always. Okay? Like, my cousins are now getting to the age where they're, like, they're becoming kids, right? Like, they're no longer babies. And now it's chill, you know what I mean? Now I can, like, influence them in the worst ways possible, most likely. You know what I mean? Now I can be a positive role model. Now I can, like, try to figure out what's going on in their world and shit like that. Like, it's way chiller when you're like 10, 11, 12 than when you're a fucking baby. You're like, wait, the baby can't do anything. It literally can't do anything. Oh, great. You know how to walk. Oh, what a big deal. Oh, my God. Well, I do it every day. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Nobody's celebrating me fucking walking, you stupid dumbass baby. Oh, man. Yeah, fucking. Oh, you know how to talk? Sick, dude. Talk to me when you're making money off of talking for 12 hours, dumb baby.
Tired of eating these same little dots. I mean, who eats dots anyway? I need a variety. I could get any 3 toppings on my large pizza for just $10. Pepperoni, sausage, bacon. Run, little man, run! Go! The $10 tastemaker, only from Pizza Hut. I think I'm about to out Pizza the Hut. No one out Pizza the Hut.
'Twas the night before. Hold up. Let's take this up a notch. 'Twas the night before Super Bowl, and all through Tampa Bay, the Chiefs and the Buccaneers were ready to play. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but the Super Bowl legends of yesteryear.
Marshawn Lynch looking like a black Israelite, dude.
Let's take this up a notch. 'Twas the night before Super Bowl, and all through Tampa Bay, the Chiefs and the Buccaneers were ready to play. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but the Super Bowl legends of yesteryear.
You still warming up?
Eli and Peyton, they're up throwing footballs, snacking on Lays and destroying them walls.
Hey, what are you doing?
His idea, Dad.
Hey, I don't care.
Beast up on them boys, Archie.
Go to bed.
Okay, dude, I don't even know enough about football, but like this does make sense. Like, I feel like these two actually do live that way.
Thanks a lot.
Catch the ball. Don't be scared of the ball.
I was not scared of the ball.
Montana and Rice relived their old glory while adding Doritos to their Super Bowl story.
Hey guys. Aitman. Can I play? Brought some chips.
Hell no. Hey, we're gonna take these Doritos though.
Come on, man.
Get
I didn't play you guys in the Super Bowl.
Let's go. My shot, Joe.
Come on, we're friends.
Look at that.
Oh, you guys are unbelievable.
When up in the attic there arose such a clatter.
It's called the Immaculate Reception.
It was the Immaculate Pass.
It was below the man's ankle.
Easy catch.
You couldn't make that catch. Bradshaw Bettis caused a snack table to shatter.
Oh, what does this have to do with Doritos, dude? I don't even understand. And like, I don't know anything about football, so none of this is important. I have no recall for any of this. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
I told you it wasn't that easy. I told you.
Nachos. Away to the window, Deion ran in a flash. He tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. Kickoff is coming. The teams are ready. Both hope that their season will end in confetti. So get the Doritos.
You guys are all right.
And get the Tostitos. Pour salsa, pour queso, get the Lay's.
Yeah, no, this is for sports weebs. Exactly. Someone in the chat says sports weebs are soy facing right now. This is exactly for the fucking sports weebs. This is tailored to Stan Twitter, but for fucking sports, okay? And you fucking they lob this shit up for you, and you just go, I'm giving it a standing ovation. Like the Avengers all-female sequence.
And the Cheetos. Now snack away, snack away, snack away, y'all, because Super Bowl's here, and we about to ball. So happy Super Bowl to all, and to all a good night. And don't forget the chips.
Did you know that Norway sells way more electric cars?
So I heard that this one was a controversial commercial because, like, I don't know why, because people just want to make controversy out of, like, dumb shit. So let's see.
Per capita than the U.S.? Norway. Way more electric cars per capita than the U.S.? Norway.
Well, I won't stand for it.
Okay, I can't shit on this joke too much because it's literally my joke that I do all the time about, like, you know, fuck social democracies in Europe. Like, we're better than them. how dare you come and make fun of us for not having social safety net. So I'm not gonna, yeah.
Never mind. With GM's new Ultium battery, we're gonna crush those losers. Crush them! Let's go, America. Keenan, Norway's out EVing us. Wait, what's this?
Oh, it's my daughter's birthday. She's really into pirates
I don't
lately.
care. Grab an EV, meet me in Norway.
Okay, can I say goodbye to my family?
Nope.
All right.
Aquafina, sorry to disturb you, but Norway's beating us at EVs.
Nuh-uh.
Uh-huh.
Nuh-uh.
Uh-huh. Meet me there in an hour.
Can I ride with you?
No! GM's Ultium battery is made for all types of vehicles, so soon everyone can drive an EV. Whoa!
Why didn't we all just go together?
Knowing Will, he's probably flying private.
Hey, Norway, listen up, you fish-loving... Oh, this place is adorable. Damn it. Where are you guys?
We're in Finland. Where are you?
I'm in Norway.
Norway? You're in Sweden.
Damn it!
It's just flawless.
Norway! It's all the same. It's Daneland. Let's be real. No, it wasn't controversial. I don't know. People were like talking about it. Norway! Oh. It was hard. It was hard for me to say. It was hard for me to hold it in the entire fucking commercial. Holy shit. Holy shit, dude. It was hard for me not to say Norway in my accent the entire commercial. It sparked the argument of what else is better than the US for Norway. I mean, they have more billionaires per capita. They have better healthcare. Their citizens are happier than the United States citizens. They have less income inequality, better labor unions. They have pretty much everything. They have nationalized the entirety of their extraction industry from forests to petroleum. Yeah, they are literally better than us in almost every single fucking way. Like, straight up every single way. Not better weather, I guess, but it depends on where you're comparing it to, I guess. Yeah. How dare we bring that up on Super Bowl Sunday? But dude, the watermelon Mountain Dew. Oh fuck, you're right. Never mind. Okay, I take it back. I take it back. We own Norway in more prisoners per capita, worse prison conditions per capita, or not per capita, worse prison conditions in general. We own them in the sadness metric, I guess, which is the opposite of the happiness one, if there is one. We are number one. Well, not number one, but we're definitely a lot better than those cucks over at Norway at obesity, diabetes, medical bankruptcies in general. What else? Guns. We are number one in guns, also gun deaths, also police brutality. In comparison to Norway, we own them in police brutality. We own them in drone strikes. We own them in imperialism. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? We are the number one exporter of brain rot. That's true. Number of COVID deaths, and COVID deaths per capita, we own them too. Way bigger military, bigger military budget. School shootings, homelessness, number of nukes we own them in. Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, America is so much better than all these other countries, especially Norway. We are so much better. Never mind. Pretty good.
Isn't it?
Norway isn't socialist. They're capitalist. They are a social democracy that is still capitalist. And yet they have higher levels of socialization. They have more social safety nets. They have nationalization of certain sectors. And it works. It's weird. It's not a country that's literally on fire all the time. It's kind of weird. What a weird situation. Because everyone keeps telling me that, like, if we were more like Norway, which is socialist but also not socialist at the same time, is Schrodinger's socialist country, we would also we would catch on fire.
Think so? Yeah. I mean, I literally couldn't imagine a more beautiful vessel for Alexa to be inside. Alexa, how many tablespoons are in a cup?
There are 16 tablespoons in a cup.
Babe, food just got here. Why are you cooking? Who's that?
Alexa, turn on the sprinklers.
Honey, I already ran the sprinklers. Things are getting way too wet around here.
Alexa, dim the lights.
Alexa, lights up! Alexa, lights up!
Add bath oils to my shopping list.
Alexa, no. Don't do that.
Read my audiobook.
I was in his hands. I was being changed.
The amount of Americans with medical debt is more than 12 times the population of Norway? Wait, really? Or did you just make that up? Alexa is my wife's boyfriend is a pretty funny fucking premise. Except for the fact that it's like, Alexa, please spy on me so you can sell me stuff further down the line. And also, if push comes to shove, maybe you'll give some of that information to the government. Who knows?
But I was also kissing him.
Honey, other people have to use the bathroom around here too.
Lately, I haven't been feeling quite like myself. Life used to feel fuller.
I want to break free.
Matthew?
Some days are harder than others.
I want to break free for
It's like I used to be solid ground.
Welcome, Matthew McConaughey. Did you drive here, or did you travel by fax?
I want to break free.
There's gotta be a way to get back.
I want to break free. This time I know it's for real. I'm falling in love. God knows. God knows.
Doritos, now in 3D.
Thank you guys
Doritos, now in 3D.
so much for watching this video of the fun.
Oh, sick, dude. Thanks for showing us all those videos. Okay, we're getting to the cream of the crop, baby. We're getting to America, baby. America, a land of contradictions. But also, the biggest contradiction of it all, Bruce Springsteen, who is from New Jersey, from Freehold, New Jersey, and yet portrays himself as a country star nowadays. The boss.
There's a chapel in Kansas, standing on the exact center of the lower 48. It never closes. All are more than welcome to come meet here in the middle. It's no secret. The middle has been a hard place to get to lately.
Dude, this sucks. This sucks so bad. Let's do a commercial about being centrist, dude. What the fuck, dude? This is so
Between
shit.
red and blue, between servant and citizen, between our freedom and our fear. Now, fear has never been the best of who we are. And as for freedom, it's not the property of just the fortunate few. It belongs to us all. Whoever you are, wherever you're from. It's what connects us, and we need that connection. We need the middle. We just...
Springsteen's American folk rock, inoffensive, no protest music, not country. First of all, like, folk music is the original root of country. Is that not true? Maybe I'm mistaken on this. But also, folk music used to be super fucking protest music rather than being no protest music. Folk is like super fucking based originally. POC, people of centrism representation.
Have to remember the very soil we stand on is common ground. So we can get there. We can make it to the mountaintop, through the desert, and we will cross this divide. Our light has always found its way through the darkness. And there's hope.
I literally didn't hear anything. Like, after the fucking, in the middle of the country, I didn't hear a single word that he said. I've been trying to pay attention, and it just honestly sounds like something that liberals put on a vision board in some fucking high-rise in a Manhattan ad agency. This entire ad reads like one of those, like, Inspire posters, but instead for centrism.
On the road, up ahead.
Like, the funniest part about centrism always is like, can't we meet in the middle of, like, you know, just letting the hogs have a little bit, like half of an insurrection, right? Like, we do half the police brutality, okay? And then we do half of an insurrection. Like, it's not that big of a deal. We arrest only half of the law-abiding abuelas. Like, come on, dude. Why can't we do a little bit of compromise? Just just half of a fucking fascist uprising or insurgency. You know, you can't. What are you gonna you can't just genocide half the people? Like, come on. Come on. Also, buying Jeeps is centrism. Apparently. I don't even know what the fuck. How does this sell Jeeps? Yeah, that was pretty funny. With the fucking red star, it does feel like the United Communist States of America. Oh, Jesus, that's funny. Like, who the fuck buys... What do they do? Like, market research to find out that it's, like, all centrists that buy Jeeps or something? Like, what the fuck? I really don't understand. Like, at least with the baby one or the Toyota ad, there's like a feeling that they're trying to bring inside of you. Are Jeep buyers actually looking at this like and going, wow, like, I love a united America? They cut off half of my Michigan. Yeah, those are all the black parts. So that's where all the Democratic voters are. That's the Trump map. That's literally the Trump map when they were like, remember when when Trump supporters were like, well, you know, if you cut out these parts, the upper part is super white. Okay, well, whatever. But they were like, when you don't take some of the Midwest, like, you know, Trump wins. That's what they were doing. I was waiting for Kobach to make an appearance. Jeep dedicates his ad to the 3/5 compromise. The perfect encapsulation of the Jeep buying demographic is Tim the Tap Man. Just tune into his stream and you understand Jeep buyers. Really? It's all about... Felix tweeted about how evil this one was. What is this? Indeed?
You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out, and we'll rise up high like the waves. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I'll rise up and I'll do it 1,000 times again for you, for you, for you, for you.
This is just the social progressive capitalism concept that billionaires are pushing now, like the Whole Foods of CEO. They're rebranding companies as our saviors. Please stop the video. I can't stop coming. Does anyone know in the US? Hey, by the way, sorry, Sweaty. You mean to tell me you have a hard time finding a non-minimum wage job? Well, why don't you just fucking swipe on that slider over at Indeed? And boom, magically, you get the salary of your choice. It's easy, you fool. Only your chat would hate a video about people getting fucking jobs. Yeah, dude, we fucking hate jobs, dude. We're such dirty, unwashed hippies, bro. The unaired Jeep Super Bowl commercial. Oh God, is this gonna be funny? Tim Dillon is so hit or miss. Is so fucking hit or miss. This guy's so fucking cringe, dude. He's so bad when he's missing. When he hits, it's like haha funny, but when he's missing, it's like, oh God, I want to fucking wash out my eyeballs with like vinegar and acid.
Had a hell of a year. My wife died of COVID-19, and I still think she was making a little too much of it. My son left to join a militia, and though I'll miss him, I'm proud of him. Our greatest strength as a country is unity. No matter how sick you are or how you...
Wait, I don't get it. Why is he making fun of fucking being a centrist when he literally does like the both sides shit all the time? Like, kind of.
...feel or what's being done to you. You unite! And if my wife was here today, she would tell you the same thing, wouldn't you, honey? You don't yell at your elected representatives in the street. They love you. Don't leave your house. Stop trying to trade stocks. It's not fun. Yeah, maybe I lost all my money on GameStop stock, and I haven't worked in 9 months. But it's fucking game day, and I'm an American. That knock right there, that'll be the sheriff evicting me because I haven't paid a mortgage in 10 months. I said I was moving out tomorrow! So just go out there and buy a fucking Jeep. You're driving around an empty parking lot of a school at night, and if you need to, you yell things that you can't say on social media for your own good. Well, now it's time to get the gun.
Damn, centrism is so fucking cringe that centrists are shitting on centrism, which is wild. That ad was so terrible, though. What a piece of shit. Bruce Springsteen louder with Crowder.
Super Bowl happened last night.
Oh, God. Oh, Lord. Oh, my God. What does this fucking dingus have to say? Oh, no, dude. The population of Norway is 5.3 million, Hasan. The guy with a 12x fact actually lied. It's 25x. 137 million Americans are struggling with medical debt. Well, there you go. Fucking bitch-ass Norwegians, dude. Get like me, motherfucker. Hey, Norway. Fuck you, dude. Guess what? We got more medical debt than you, bitch. Number one! Number one! Just like chugging. Woo! Number one, baby! Struggling is probably doing the big labor there. It's probably the number of people that are like facing medical bankruptcy is much smaller than the number of people that are struggling with medical debt. Sorry, I miscalculated, King. It's far worse than I thought. Oh, also, this is pre-pandemic. Well, the pandemic isn't real. Shut up! Pandemic isn't real. It can't hurt you. Oh, God, our situation is so shit. You're in medical debt from cancer. Get a fucking job on Indeed. I'm going to put this here in case you ever need to read my history in front of chat. I have social anxiety. Please don't bully me too hard. Okay, don't say something stupid then. For Norway, there isn't even any article about medical debt that shows up. Yeah, because they're fucking hiding it. Those cowards, they must be hiding their medical debt. Those goddamn cowards. It's like China, hiding the COVID numbers. Everybody in China is dead. They all died of COVID. I know this. I knew it. They all died of COVID. And everybody in Norway has, it's 100% actually. 100% of Norwegians have medical debt. That's why they won't show this to you. Anyway, here's what we're doing now. First of all, it's top of the hour every hour. It's time for a 6-second ad break. You already know what the deal is. And then secondly, right after that, you already know what fucking time it is, fool. Do you know what time it is, you fools? Do you know what the fuck we're about to fucking do over here? Do you know what we're about to motherfucking do over here? Oh, you think we're fucking playing Zelda? You think we're playing fucking baby games, dude? No, we're not fucking playing baby games. I'm gonna put the GABA in the goal over here. It's motherfucking gamer time. Okay. You see that? You fucking see Chatterino moving away from the fucking screen over here. You see requesting access into a motherfucking server over here. Yeah, I'm gonna turn off camera in a second. You see the immersion increasing. You see handshaking. You see #1 priority and 52 motherfuckers waiting on queue over here. You get excited. You think to yourself, oh God, what time is it? It's fucking Umberto Antonio Donato Pecorino to make a goddamn return over here. Hey. We don't want to see your ugly face no more. Hey, you better watch it. All right, so I'm going to warn you guys. Probably what's going to happen, because it always happens in the beginning, is I might crash. And then when you restart it, when you reboot it after you originally crash, it's fine usually. And I think it'll be fine. But I'm just warning you that it might, at first try, it might like go in, log in, crash, and then we'll be fine.